I travel from one world to another doing wholesale sales, and you call this the end of the world? This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76 Relatives are coming. After breakfast, Su Wei led the Bloody Rose team to the conference room. Wu Mai also found Zhang Ling, who was taking a walk, and brought her over. Although the conference room was not luxurious, the high-tech furnishings still surprised the Bloody Rose team. In the wasteland world where everything was in ruins, there was such luxurious technology, which they had never seen in large bases. Su Wei, Wu Ma told me about your invitation on the way here. Sorry, we won't live under someone else's roof, Zhang Ling said firmly as soon as she came in. In the wasteland world, order collapsed, and without the protection of the law, women were equivalent to goods, being toyed with and traded at will, so Zhang Ling hated Asira and the opposite sex of the Asira so much. Therefore, being able to live in peace with Su Wei can be called a miracle. Zhang Ling, don't think about it again. Su Wei didn't expect Zhang Ling to be so decisive, and the others didn't seem to have the slightest intention of objecting. No, thank you for your hospitality last night. We are leaving now, bye. Zhang Ling turned around and left without even sitting down. Wait a minute, Su Wei quickly stood up and rushed to the door, blocking Zhang Ling's way. What? Soft tactics don't work. Are you planning to use force? Zhang Ling's whole body was filled with cold murderous intent, and the ground where her leather boots stepped on was shining with a light blue light, and even traces of ice appeared. Wu Ma and others also showed a vigilant look, and as long as Zhang Ling gave an order, they would attack. It was Zhang Ling who rescued them from the abyss of ravage, so in their hearts, Zhang Ling was a godlike existence that could not be shaken. Don't get me wrong. I have another way to cooperate. The Phaeton base is still very weak at present, but it has attracted the attention of the surrounding settlements, and a powerful enemy will invade soon. If you don't want to stay, then I hope to use food, fuel, medicine, weapons and other supplies as rewards to hire you to help us protect the base and resist the powerful enemies. How about it? Su Wei explained helplessly. Why did Zhang Ling react so strongly? She always thought someone was going to harm her. But thinking of the barbaric laws of the wasteland world, she felt relieved. Zhang Ling's momentum condensed, and a look of hesitation appeared on her face that was originally covered with frost. In addition to hunting zombies and mutant beasts, the Bloody Rose will also take some tasks to replenish supplies, so Su Wei's suggestion is naturally understandable, and with the wealth of the Phaeton base, the reward is absolutely generous. This is undoubtedly a temptation that she can't refuse. But she resisted in her heart. She hated the feeling of being dominated by temptation. However, her peripheral vision caught the expectant eyes of the team members. Okay. I agree, but we will not accept any transfer or command except for combat, Zhang Ling finally agreed. Okay, no problem, Su Wei immediately made the decision. With Zhang Ling as a big Buddha, the early stage is stable. With the addition of Bloody Rose, Wang Bowen and others were immediately full of confidence, and even threatened to fight to the enemy's hometown. In this regard, Su Wei did not say anything. He did not plan to put the expansion on the agenda. It is better to build the Phaeton base as solid as a rock first. In view of Zhang Ling's vigilance, Su Wei asked Song Dan to vacate an area in the base for Bloody Rose to use independently. All personnel are prohibited from harassing, and they will be severely punished once discovered. Needless to say, the supplies and treatment are of the highest standard, expressing full sincerity. With the Denghaitian's Hun in the base, Su Wei no longer needs to watch it all day. After a few trips of supplies, he returned to the modern world. Coming out of the rental house, Su Wei drove the Fengshan to the #1 courtyard of Yunshujian. Oh, by the way, it can no longer be called a rental house, because the house has been bought by Su Wei at a high price, and a parking space has also been bought, so there is no need to worry about parking. This community is called Jinxiu Garden, and it will become Su Wei's exclusive studio in the future. He rushed all the way back to courtyard #1, just in time for dinner. Xia Wei couldn't come back today because of something, so Li Xiaoman accompanied Grandpa Su. The food in courtyard #1 is specially taken care of by the chef of Gishixuan. Xiaohu, come and eat together. The old man was very happy to see his eldest grandson. Li Xiaoman got up and went to the kitchen to get a set of clean bowls and chopsticks. The three of them sat around the dining table and ate. Grandpa, did you win the game of chess today? Of course, I am now the chess king of Cheyenne Garden, invincible, and even that old man Wong is not my opponent. Speaking of playing chess, Grandpa Su's face was full of red. Drinking, boxing, and playing chess are his three major hobbies in life. And the old man Wong he mentioned is a retired old professor, who used to be the best chess player in Cheyenne Garden. Really? Grandpa, you're awesome. Su Wei couldn't help but laugh when he heard that. He was actually crowned a king. Li Xiaoman was quietly listening to the grandpa and grandson's chat about everything under the sun. She also found it quite interesting. While they were eating, Su Jinkei's video phone came in. The couple was having a candlelight dinner in Haicheng, and the sea under the sunset was magnificent. Xiaoman, when you have time, help me order a car. Just an ordinary one will do. Su Wei said this on the way to send Li Xiaoman out. Feng Shen drove too high profile, especially when going to Jinxi Garden. It would always become the focus of others. He didn't want to be targeted. Well, okay, I'll call Sister Guo right away. Li Xiaoman called Guo Lixin and told her Su Wei's request. The other party said that the car could be delivered to courtyard number 1 tomorrow morning. Boss, it's done. Your secretary is so efficient. Is there any reward? Li Xiaoman said playfully, shaking the phone in her hand. Well, that's good. Then stay tonight. The boss will reward you. Su Wei touched his chin with a scrutinizing look on his face. Bah, what kind of reward is this? It's a reward for yourself. Li Xiaoman's pretty face was charming. Seriously, can you stay? Su Wei held Li Xiaoman's slender waist with some emotion. I want to, but my relatives are coming. Li Xiaoman leaned on Su Wei and whispered. Relatives? What relatives? Su Wei was confused. Oh. That's it. Li Xiaoman was so embarrassed that she bit Su Wei's ear and said something. Oh, Su Wei immediately showed a look of loss. Then let Xia Fang take you. No, it's not a big deal. I can go back by myself. Li Xiaoman smiled and hit Su Wei's shoulder, with a deep, indissoluble love in her eyes. Okay then, drive slowly. Su Wei sent Li Xiaoman to the car and watched the car gradually go away. Chapter 77 Begging for Mercy. The next day, Su Wei got up very early. He hadn't been to school for a long time since the holiday. Although there were no compulsory courses, he still had to show up from time to time. After breakfast, Su Wei asked Jin Xiafang to take him to Huidu University. It was great to have a full-time driver. Oh, Lao Su. What a rare guest. On the way, he met Zhang Doi and Zhang Su who had just returned from the cafeteria. Zhang Su immediately shouted with a smirk on his face. I say, Lao Zhang, where's your handkerchief? Su Wei looked at Zhang Su seriously and said. Handkerchief? What are you doing with a handkerchief? Zhang Su was stunned by what he said, and subconsciously reached out to wipe his mouth. No oil? Besides, what era is this? Who still uses handkerchiefs? Everyone uses tissues, okay. If you take another handkerchief and shake it a few times, won't you be a standard pimp? Rare guest. Rare your sister. Fuck, old Su, you have changed. Your thoughts are especially impure. Zhang Su jumped up in anger and slapped Su Wei. Just like that, the three of them walked towards the teaching building, talking and laughing. Su. Not long after they walked, a stumbling figure jumped out of the crowd and blocked the three of them. Guo Minglian? What are you doing here? Zhang Dai and Zhang Su quickly blocked in front of Su Wei, fearing that this kid would suddenly hurt people. Su Wei looked up at Guo Minglian, only to see that he had long lost his former high spirits and was full of dejection at the end of his rope. His eyes were red, his chin was unshaved, and his clothes were creased everywhere, looking like they had been worn for a long time. The second young master of the richest family in Huidu City, who had been gone for a few days, turned out to be a lost dog. Don't get me wrong, I'm not here to cause trouble, I'm here to ask Su Wei, Mr. Su for help, Guo Mingliang said with a shrinking look. Beg me? You are the second young master of Guo, I can't do anything to help you. Su Wei couldn't help but snorted coldly. No. Su Wei, I was wrong, I know I was wrong, I have completely broken up with Liu Tingting, please, spare our Guo family, Guo Mingliang almost cried. After Guo Juke and Guo Mingguang were taken away, the commercial building of Guo Group collapsed in an instant. When the tree falls, the monkeys scatter, and when the wall falls, everyone pushes it. This is not just as simple as declaring bankruptcy. All the assets of the Guo family have been frozen, and there are still many loans to be repaid. Almost overnight, Guo Minglian felt what it means to be abandoned by everyone. He couldn't contact any of his former friends, and the relatives who used to rush to curry favor with him also ran away with the money. Now, Guo Minglian even has to worry about his next meal, which shows how miserable he has fallen. Sorry, I don't understand what you are talking about, Su Wei laughed when he heard it. Guo Group? What does it have to do with him? Su Wei. Killing people is not enough. I've begged you so much, why are you still not giving up? Although Guo Minglian was down and out, he had not yet completely awakened, and still had a sense of superiority in his bones. Guo Minglian, you should understand that Guo's company was frozen because it violated the law. It has nothing to do with me. Besides, I didn't ask you to beg me, and it's useless to beg me. Su Wei hated people who had no self-awareness at all. If you didn't know, you would think that the world belonged to him. As he said that, Su Wei pulled Zhang Dui and Zhuang Su to leave. Su Wei, Guo Minglian roared, with a murderous look on his face, his eyes red, as if he wanted to eat people. The actions here had long attracted the attention of the surroundings, and more people gathered around. Everyone found that the protagonist looked very familiar. Aren't they the two people in front of the girls' dormitory last time? But, after more than a month, how come their identities were swapped? The calm Su Wei looked more like a rich second generation, and the grinning Guo Minglian was the poor one. What do you want to do? Su Wei stepped forward and stood in front of him. However, Guo Minglian's next move shocked everyone so much that their jaws dropped to the ground. The former second young master Guo actually knelt down to Su Wei in public, and his knees landed firmly on the ground, the kind that you could hear. Guo Minglian, what are you doing? Su Wei was also stunned. This guy actually knelt down like this? Boss Su, please, give our Guo family a way out. I swear that I will never appear in front of you in the future. Wherever you are, I will retreat 3 steps away, Guo Minglian shouted hoarsely. He didn't want to eat leftovers, didn't want to live in a big bed, and didn't want to be penniless. The onlookers were in an uproar. Is the news about the Guo group true? Is the Guo family finished? Everyone remembered the hottest news recently, and thought it was just a hype by the media to attract attention. I thought that even if the Guo family went bankrupt, it would be much better than ordinary people with its foundation. But now it seems that it is not the case at all. And judging from Guo Minglian's miserable condition, it is estimated that it is even worse than before. Is Guo's completely collapsed? Who is the Su Wei? How can he be so powerful, don't you know? I heard from my girlfriend's best friend's friend that he is the only chairman of Ziwei Group, the second largest group company in Huidu City. Some time ago, I heard that Guo's wanted to swallow Ziwei, but Guo's collapsed, and Ziwei Group wanted to add 100 billion investment. My goodness, who is the real boss? This is it. For a while, everyone talked about it, and some people even searched the internet for the latest news. In an instant, the eyes looking at Su Wei changed. It was totally unexpected that there was such a giant crocodile hidden in Huidu University. Enough, Su Wei shouted, and immediately suppressed the voices of Guo Minglian and everyone else. Everyone turned their eyes to Su Wei, who had the aura of a pig's foot. Guo Minglian, I'll say it again. The Guo group was closed down because it violated the law. It's their own fault. It has nothing to do with me. If the Guo family is innocent, no one will deliberately convict you, but if there is, they will never bend the law for personal gain. Everyone is equal before the law, so, what you should do now is to pray that your Guo family has not done anything harmful to the world in the past, otherwise, After saying that, Su Wei took Zhang Dui and Zhang Su away. Guo Minglian, who was desperate, was left behind and everyone was talking about it again. It's over. It's over. This time it's really over. Guo Minglian could no longer hear the outside world's discussions, and knelt on the ground in a daze, at a loss. The rapid rise of the Guo group was not based on golden fingers, but on plunder. Under such a background, how could it be clean? Not to mention that it is a severe crackdown now. Even if you just check it, you will find a lot of it. In the past, there were two chains, money and relationships, which could lock these things in dark corners. But now, both chains have been broken, and all conspiracies and plots will be exposed to the light, with no place to hide. Chapter 78, Get as far away as you can. Guo Minglian's appearance did not cause any waves except for a lot of gossip. After Su Wei and the other two attended a few open classes, they returned to the dormitory to rest. Lao Zhang, Lao Zhang, have you made up your mind? Do you want to go to work directly or start a business? Su Wei asked the two on the way. I've made up my mind. I want to go to Ziwei Group, Zhang Su answered immediately. Although his family also had a good job, he would rather do it on his own because it was more free and he didn't have to be watched by his family all day. Another reason was that his girlfriend Hu Xiaoxin had already joined the public relations department of Ziwei Group, so of course he had to go there too. What are you going to do? I want to go to the marketing department at the headquarters. Okay. You can ask Sister Wei to arrange it for you directly. Su Wei nodded when he heard this, which was in line with Zhang Su's playful personality. Lao Zhang, what about you? Su Wei asked. Lao Su, I have an immature idea, Zhang Dai said with a hint of shyness on his face. Then let's talk about it when it matures, Su Wei said deliberately. It's done, Zhang Dai was anxious. Is it really done? Yes, it's done, go ahead, I want to form a team to play esports. Huh? Esports? Su Wei and Zhang Su were stunned. Why? Is it too unrealistic? Zhang Dai was flustered by the two people's look. No. I just didn't expect you to really eat this bowl of rice. You have to think clearly. This road is not easy to walk, and you may even be questioned by others. Even so, are you willing? Su Wei asked carefully. Yes, I've thought it through, Zhang Dai nodded without hesitation. His favorite thing on weekdays is esports. Now that he has the opportunity to realize his dream, he naturally can't let it go. Okay, since you have chosen it, there is no problem. At that time, your team will be under the name of Ziwei Electronics. Su Wei nodded and agreed. Ziwei Electronics will definitely not be limited to hydrogen batteries. There will be more electronic products in the future. If you have your own team, as long as your record is not too bad, you can also gain a lot of popularity. Good, Zhang Dai hugged Su Wei excitedly and almost bid him. Fortunately, Su Wei had practiced before, otherwise he would have been killed. Cyrillic lettered X. The three of them came to the downstairs of the dormitory, playing and laughing. I don't know what happened today. A group of people gathered downstairs, and it looked very lively. Here they come. Here they come. Seeing the three people approaching, someone shouted, and the people around them immediately dispersed and made way for a passage. Looking into the passage, I saw a pile of flowers and burning heart-shaped candles on the open space in front of the dormitory. A girl with a beautiful figure, long legs and white skin stood in the middle, wearing a dazzling wedding dress, staring at Su Wei with deep affection. Liu Tingting, Zhang Dai and Zhang Su's expressions became quite strange. Is it not appropriate for this kid to go out today? Guo Minglian blocked the road in the morning, and now Liu Tingting blocked the door again. Su Wei, I love you. I can't live without you, Liu Tingting, dressed in a gorgeous outfit, said as she walked towards Su Wei with deep affection. The snow-white wedding dress and the fiery red roses made the air exude an extremely romantic atmosphere. Together, the crowd around them suddenly shouted wildly, and some of them were the most enthusiastic, just waving flags and cheering. Liu Tingting, what are you doing? Su Wei's face darkened. How could this woman be so shameless that she dared to come to him? Su Wei, I'm here to confess my love to you. Have you forgotten that the internet praises us as a golden boy and a jade girl, a match made in heaven, right? Liu Tingting made herself smile so beautifully that those who didn't know her would really think she was a lovelorn girl. Get out. Get as far away from me as possible. I only feel disgusted when I see you now, Su Wei said coldly. No matter how much Liu Tingting guessed, she never expected Su Wei to have such an expression. This made her unable to maintain the smile on her face and turned into a resentful expression. Su Wei, why do you treat me like this? It was Guo Minglian who forced me to do it. His family is rich and powerful. What can a little girl like me do? Liu Tingting cried and complained, which made the listeners sad and tearful. Huh? Forced you? I saw you get into a sports car with my own eyes. You also said that I would never make that much money in my life and told me to see the reality. Now that the Guo family has collapsed, you immediately want to come to me again. What do you think I am? A sucker, I tell you, Liu Tingting. I gave you a chance at the beginning, but you didn't cherish it. You can't afford me today. After Su Wei finished speaking, he ignored the angry Liu Tingting and walked straight towards the dormitory building. Zhang Dai and Zhang Su glanced at Liu Tingting and followed Su Wei's footsteps with disdain on their faces. The surroundings were as quiet as frozen. Su Wei, Stop! Liu Tingting pulled off the silk scarf on her head, and shouted at Su Wei's back with disheveled hair. Liu Tingting, stop it, otherwise my lawyer doesn't mind talking to you. Su Wei didn't stop, and continued to move forward, leaving Liu Tingting with the cold back that was getting farther and farther away. Su Wei, why don't you dare to admit that you still love me? Otherwise, why did you keep the rental house where we lived together, and even bought it at a high price? Liu Tingting said hoarsely. Su Wei's figure seemed to be paused and suddenly stopped. Xiao Wei, I know you love me, right? I swear, from now on, I will only be your woman. Even if you have other women, I don't mind, as long as you can forgive me, you can let me do anything. In order to get Su Wei's forgiveness, Liu Tingting even signed an unequal treaty for herself. Because she knew that the Guo family was destroyed because of the man in front of her. As long as you hold on to hair on this thigh, you can win in this life. Shut up! Su Wei turned around suddenly, and his thunderous anger made Liu Tingting's breathing stop. I bought that house simply because I was too lazy to move all those luggage. It has nothing to do with you, please don't be so self-indulgent. I can't bear it, Su Wei said with a terrifying coldness in his eyes, which was a warning to Liu Tingting. Being swept by that look, Liu Tingting felt as if her whole body was frozen. It was not until Su Wei and others disappeared in the dormitory building that she felt a little warmth from the sun. At this moment, she completely understood that Su Wei was no longer the little boy who treated her well with all his heart. Spilled water is doomed to fail. Woo woo woo. Liu Tingting couldn't help but shed tears of regret. The gorgeous dress on her face was messed up. She no longer looked like a white swan, but an ugly duckling. Chapter 79 Set sail. Guo Minglian left the school that day, and no one knew where he went. As for Liu Tingting, who wrote and performed her own work from the beginning, without Guo Minglian's support, she was exposed to many scandals, and her path to becoming an internet celebrity was cut off. After graduation, she will probably be tainted and become the most ordinary person. This information did not cause any waves for Su Wei. Whether it was people or things, they were all over. Now, his attention is focused on his graduation thesis. While writing the thesis, Su Wei would occasionally teleport to the wasteland world to pay attention to the development of the base and toss some supplies. It is worth mentioning that 3 days after the Bloody Rose officially entered the base, the covetous Rolling Stone, Scorpion and Yellow Rat finally launched an attack. Thousands of people rushed to the Phaeton base like a tide. However, what they didn't expect was that the wall of the Phaeton base had risen a lot in 3 days, and even the ladders they prepared could not reach it. This is not a small settlement, it is clearly comparable to a fortress. The 3 settlements were in a dilemma, and they had to bite the bullet and force the duck to go on the shelf, hoping to crush the city defense and supply of the Phaeton base through the advantage of military strength. But is this possible? Of course not. Phaeton is least afraid of fighting a protracted war. As a result, Phaeton killed the enemy's several attacks without a single soldier. Later, Zhang Ling was annoyed and fired a burst of shots from the top of the city, causing the leaders of the 3 settlements to receive a boxed lunch directly. Zhang Ling's performance shocked everyone. Is this the sniper god in the world? Among thousands of troops, taking the head of the general is like taking something out of a bag. Wang Boing ordered the entire army to attack at the first time. Led by him, Yuna and Wu Ma, the troops were divided into 3 groups and chased directly to the enemy's hometown. Without a leader, the 3 settlements became chaotic and were taken over by Phaeton, becoming vassals of the base. It is not easy to survive in the wasteland world. As for who is the leader, the survivors do not actually have much sense of belonging. But when they learned that Phaeton would no longer collect food taxes, and would also open trade and use food to purchase items from the survivors of the 3 settlements were directly boiling. This is undoubtedly great news. It is not to say that the problem of food and clothing has been solved, but at least the mortality rate has been reduced to a great extent, giving people a little hope. This has provided great help in stabilizing the 3 settlements. Su Wei never dreamed that the territory would expand 3 times in an instant. It seems that it was the right decision to keep Zhang Ling at all costs. But what happened next almost made him collapse. The territory has expanded 3 times, and the population has expanded nearly 3 times. The demand has naturally risen sharply. Just dealing with materials is exhausting. Su Wei has no time to write a paper. However, this is the road I chose, and I have to finish it even if I cry and kneel. In the modern world, even Jin Ziafeng has joined the ranks of purchases. Su Wei sullenly dealt with materials in the wasteland world for more than 10 days. And finally got the main base and 3 sub-bases up and running normally. It seems that this is not a long-term solution. We must speed up the wasteland transformation project and strive to realize the self-cultivation of crops in the wasteland world as soon as possible. At that time, as long as enough non-mutated medicinal materials are provided, the pressure will be reduced a lot. In the following time, Su Wei turned a deaf ear to the outside world and focused on writing his thesis. Finally, at the end of the month, he handed in a satisfactory answer sheet. Just after Su Wei was released from seclusion, he received a call from Xiaowei. Ziwei Electronics is on fire. The thing is, Huai's latest ultra-thin smartphone Hi-12 became a hit as soon as it was launched, and it was sold out on the first day of sale. In addition to system optimization and hardware upgrades, the biggest highlight of Hi-12 is its thinness. The thickness is only 1/3 of the mainstream phones on the market, but the standby capacity has reached a terrifying 1 month. Even if you watch videos and play games every day, you can continue to use it for 6 or 7 days. In addition, the battery does not have a heating problem, which greatly reduces the heat dissipation pressure of the mobile phone and frees up more resources for chip optimization. The user experience has been greatly improved, absolutely smooth. And all this is thanks to the hydrogen battery. Yes, Hi-12 is the first model equipped with Ziwei Electronics hydrogen battery. Therefore, Ziwei Electronics also became popular and became the object of worship for countless enthusiasts. Look, our great Xia country also has top technology, definitely surpassing the United States by 100 years. The hot sales of Hi-12 have made other major mobile phone giants in China see the market prospects, and they have sent cooperation intentions to Ziwei Electronics. Needless to say, once the deal is concluded, there will definitely be a huge number of orders. Xiaowei's headache now is not sales, but production. Huaio, which has tasted the sweetness, immediately added orders and won all the production of Ziwei Electronics. Now there are shares to be distributed to several other companies. Sister Wei, expand production. I will contact 4 more super compressors to double the production. Su Wei made the decision directly in the general manager's office of Ziwei Group headquarters. After completing my studies, it's time to start a business. Okay, no problem, the site and infrastructure have been basically completed, only the equipment and manpower are missing. I'll have someone keep an eye on it. Xiaowei sat behind the computer, busy signing and checking documents. She is now extremely fortunate that she listened to Su Wei's advice and started the full-scale construction. Otherwise, even if she wanted to expand production now, there would be no place. By the way, Sister Wei, how is the progress of the Ziwei Industrial Park? Su Wei asked casually. Ziwei Industrial Park is the grand blueprint constructed last time. It is located in the Huadu High-Tech Development Zone and covers an area of thousands of acres. Once completed, it will be a high-tech business card for Huadu. Thanks to the strong cooperation from all parties, we have entered the first phase of infrastructure construction, including the headquarters building, electronics factory, employee canteen, employee dormitory, etc., a total of 12 buildings. The current completion rate has reached 30%, and the infrastructure will not be completed until the end of the year at the earliest. Xiaowei looked up at Su Wei, very curious about why this guy was interested in the company's affairs today. Well, isn't it time to graduate soon? I should come to the company to share some of your responsibilities. Su Wei was embarrassed by Xiaowei's look and hurriedly explained. Welcome, our President Su is finally going to take office officially. Xiaowei smiled playfully with her head tilted. No, it's mainly Sister Wei who is responsible, I'm just helping out, Su Wei said hurriedly. With his temperament, he is definitely not used to sitting in the office. I knew it, but forget it. I've sold it to you anyway, so you have the final say. Xiaowei looked disappointed. Haha, those who are capable should do more work. Thank you for your hard work, Sister Wei. Su Wei quickly stood up and massaged Xiaowei's back and shoulders. His touch was great. Okay. I didn't know you yet. By the way, Grandpa he called a few days ago and said he wanted to meet you, but you couldn't get through, so he called me. Xiaowei rolled her eyes at Su Wei, and then peacefully enjoyed the relaxation brought by the strong fingertips. Oh, why did he ask me? Su Wei was stunned when he heard this. The contract had been signed, what else could happen? I don't know, you can ask your school beauty girlfriend. Xia Wei closed her eyes and enjoyed it, but she couldn't help but feel sour in her bones. She knew about Su Wei and Li Xiaomen's affairs, but she didn't react much, but she couldn't let go of He Shuang. Maybe this is a natural enemy. Ahem, Shuang didn't mention this on the phone, so she probably doesn't know either, Su Wei said with embarrassment. Although the two don't meet often, they often chat online. Sometimes He Shuang will send some of her artistic photos to Su Wei for appreciation, which are all exclusive editions. Shuang. You call me so affectionately, am I old and ugly? No, Sister Wei, you are the ceiling of the Queen world, so glamorous. You are good at talking. Call Grandpa He back quickly. Yeah, I know. Su Wei's hand moved down a little bit involuntarily. It's mainly because the fabric is too silky. Chapter 80 Big Shot. 2 days later, Su Wei and He Shuang flew to Magic City together. Originally, He Donglei was going to come to Flower City, but He Shuang wanted to go home and took the initiative to invite Su Wei to go with him. Along the way, He Shuang held Su Wei's arm, like a little bird, and I don't know how many people envied her. Mr. Su, at the exit, a middle-aged man in black clothes saw He Shuang and immediately greeted her. Uncle Wu, why are you here? He Shuang saw the person coming and showed a look of surprise on her face. Wu Changqing is He Donglei's full-time driver and bodyguard, and he actually sent him to pick someone up today. The old man knew that Mr. Su was coming, so he specially ordered me to pick you up. Wu Changqing smiled and looked like an ordinary honest man. Su Wei, did you hear that? I am really blessed by you. Uncle Wu is Grandpa's full-time driver, He Shuang said to Su Wei with a joking look on his face. Really? I'm so honored, Uncle Wu. Su Wei smiled and nodded. No. You're joking, Wu Changqing quickly replied. The three of them walked outside. Wu Changqing drove a black Rolls-Royce Phantom, a luxury car worth tens of millions. The two sat in the spacious back seat and admired the prosperous scenery of the Magic City through the bright glass windows. He Shuang kept introducing Su Wei all the way, acting as a host. Not only does she sing well, but her voice is also soft and sweet, which makes people enjoy it very much. Looking at the towering buildings around him and the spider web-like viaduct under his feet, Su Wei felt a lot in his heart. It must be said that compared with a Magic City, Hutu City is simply a small witch compared to a big witch. Similarly, compared with the companies outside, Zhuyi Group is not even a younger brother. There is still a long way to go before he can reach the greatness in his mind. Su Wei, we're here. When Su Wei was lost in thought, He Shuang's beautiful voice came. When he got off the car, a bright skyscraper stood in front of him. Donglei International Building. Several large golden characters were hung outside the skyscraper, which looked majestic and domineering. In the center of this metropolis where every inch of land is worth a lot of money, Donglei International actually owns an independent skyscraper. Its strength is self-evident. Grandpa is on the top floor, let's go up. He Shuang took Su Wei's arm and led him into the building. With the little princess of Donglei International, the two of them had a smooth journey. Su Wei's young and handsome appearance left a very deep impression on people. Everyone was guessing who this little brother was. He was able to win the favor of the little princess. There is a special elevator on the top floor, as well as sofa seats and refreshments for people to rest. Haha, Xiaohu, I've been looking forward to you for a long time, and finally you are here. As soon as he got out of the elevator, a group of people led by Grandpa He came up to him, which made Su Wei flattered. Grandpa He, you are too polite. I was delayed by some things in Hutu City a few days ago, and I was not able to fulfill my duty as a host. This time I came here to apologize to you, Su Wei hurriedly said modestly. Haha, young people are really good at talking, and I, an old man, like to listen. He Donglei laughed and couldn't help but praise. Grandpa, what about me? He Shuang, who was left out, was immediately unhappy. Oh, okay, I also like to listen to Shuang's words. He Donglei hurriedly added that he must not be missed by this precious granddaughter. He Shuang smiled coquettishly, making everyone laugh, and the atmosphere suddenly became harmonious. Shuang, you go around by yourself first, we will borrow your Su Wei for a while, He Donglei then said to He Shuang. Bah, bad grandpa. I'm ignoring you, Su Wei, I'm going to go to the mall downstairs. Call me when I'm done. He Shuang blushed when she heard this, But she knew that Grandpa and the others had something serious to discuss, so she said to Su Wei. Okay, Su Wei agreed. After seeing He Shuang off, Su Wei was taken to a large office by He Donglei. The large floor-to-ceiling windows not only allow you to see the entire city of Magic City, but also the sea in the distance, which is refreshing. This is He Donglei's office. At this time, two middle-aged men were sitting on the sofa in the lounge area drinking hot tea. Come on, Xiaohu, let me introduce you. This is Ren Hongfei, chairman of Huaiyao Group, and this is Feng Qinghua, technical director of Huaiyao Group. He Donglei took Su Wei to the lounge area and introduced them to the two. You two, he is Su Wei, chairman of Huaiyao Group, whom I mentioned. He invented the hydrogen battery, then he introduced them to the two. Mr. Ren, Mr. Feng, hello. Su Wei was surprised to hear the introduction. No wonder he looked familiar. It turned out that he was the chairman of Huaiyao Group and was also known as the businessman with the most national integrity. Mr. Su is so young, but he has achieved such success. It is really a blessing for Daxia. Ren Hongfei, who was a little older, stretched out his hand and shook it tightly with Su Wei. The hot sales of High 12 not only made money for the company, but also earned face for the company, which made countries around the world amazed. You are too kind. Compared with the predecessors, I am still far behind, Su Wei said modestly. Haha, well, stop complimenting each other and let's get down to business. He Donglei asked a few people to sit down and said straight to the point. Okay, let's talk about business. Su Wei nodded and guessed the other party's intention. Xiaohu, Xiaoren just wants to ask you if you can get a high-precision lithography machine. He Donglei is a generation older than Ren Hongfei, so it's okay to call him that. Photolithography machine, Su Wei was stunned. What he is doing now has nothing to do with lithography machines. Yes, I heard from Mr. He that you, Mr. Su, have a high-tech team that has produced the core equipment for producing hydrogen metal, the supercompressor, so we want to ask if you have any connections in this area. Ren Hongfei was also a little desperate. Oh, is it because of the sanctions from the United States? Su Wei understood it as soon as he heard it. Huaiyao is a world-class information and communication technology company and the largest communication equipment supplier. Its development indicates that Xiaoguo will have more information and communication rights in the world. This is not only economically advantageous, but also has huge advantages in intelligence and military. This is what the United States least wants to see, so the United States proposed chip sanctions, leaving Huaiyao without chips. At the same time, it also imposed a technology blockade on Xiaoguo, intending to limit the rise of Xiaoguo by clamping down on the development of Huaiyao. Yes, the Americans are bastards. If they can't win head-on, they resort to underhand tactics. Their minds are full of hegemony and he can't stand others surpassing them. Feng Qinghua, the technical director at the side, said with a look of resentment. Chapter 81 Self-reliance leads to fearlessness. What is the current state-of-the-art photolithography machine? Su Wei wanted to understand the current state of the industry before considering what to do. The current most advanced photolithography machine in the world is a 4-nanometer photolithography machine manufactured by Lan country, while the limit of what a country can manufacture is a 14-nanometer photolithography machine. We had originally ordered several 7-nanometer photolithography machines from Lan country, but under the interference of the United States, Lan country unilaterally tore up the contract. Although compensation was made, it was of no avail at all. All core components of photolithography machines, and even all semiconductor materials, are restricted from import to Xia country, which clearly shows that they want to completely blockade us, Feng Qinghua explained helplessly. Although China can also manufacture photolithography machines, the performance of the chips that can be produced is much worse and is not competitive at all. The point is that our reserve chips will soon run out, Ren Hongfei added with a gloomy face. This is like a soldier on the battlefield without ammunition, and can only look at the groups of bloodless enemies and sigh. Chips, Su Wei couldn't help but fall into deep thought after hearing this. The chip technology in the wasteland world has already broken through to the femtometer level. If it is taken back directly, it will probably cause a world-class panic. Just imagine, a computer equipped with a femtometer level chip will definitely have a faster computing speed than a nanometer level chip. Anyone with a little hacker knowledge can use it to do whatever they want. Would the world be in chaos? Xiaohu, do you really have a way? He Donglei and others felt warm in their hearts when they saw that Su did not directly refuse. Well, there is a way, It depends on whether Director Ren is willing or not, Su Wei said in an unfathomable way. Oh, what am I willing to do? Ren Hongfei was stunned when he heard this. How could he be related to him? It's like this. Ziwei Electronics just wants to develop new products, and the target they have chosen is chips. So, if Director Ren trusts me, how about letting Ziwei Electronics produce chips? The technology in the wasteland world is too advanced, so Su Wei thinks it is safer to control it in his own hands. When this was said, not only Ren Hongfei, but everyone else was stunned. Good guy, this is trying to snatch food from the tiger's mouth. Huaiao already has its own chip company, and it has achieved considerable success, fully able to meet the needs of the mid and low-end markets. The only thing missing now is the high-end market. Once Su Wei's conditions are agreed, it will be equivalent to Huaiao cutting off one of its own arms. Mr. Su, chip manufacturing is not just about photolithography machines, it also involves a series of industrial chains. High-purity silicon materials alone are not easy to get. Before Ren Hongfei could say anything, Feng Qinghe on the side couldn't help but reminded him with a little resentment. Haha, thank you for reminding me, but silicon is not the only thing that can make chips. Su Wei looked calm. Besides pure silicon, what else can be used? Feng Qinghe asked unconvinced. There was no such thing before, but now there is, Su Wei said, taking a sip of the hot tea in front of him. Hydrogen battery? Hydrogen metal. You mean hydrogen metal? Room temperature superconductor. Ren Hongfei immediately came to his senses. Feng Qinghe, who is engaged in technology, was so surprised that he couldn't speak. No wonder Su Wei looked so confident. Yes, the power of hydrogen metal is not only used to make new energy batteries, but that is just the beginning. In fact, I have already had a plan for the next step. Now that Director Ren has found me, it can be said that it is a natural combination. Su Wei continued to pretend. If that's the case, I can not only give all Huaiao's orders to Ziwei Electronics, but I can even pack up Lunsen directly for you. Ren Hongfei slapped the coffee table with excitement, shaking the teacup. This time it was Su Wei's turn to be stunned. He didn't expect Ren Hongfei to be so generous. Not only did he give up the market, but he also gave up the team. Director Ren, Feng Qinghe was furious when he heard it. Lunsen is a chip company under Huaiao, with a full set of design, manufacturing, and packaging processes, and it occupies a huge position in Huaiao. Old Feng, we are not experts in hydrogen metal, but Mr. Su is different. In his hands, Lunsen will definitely bring out a higher value. What I did is just icing on the cake, it's no big deal. Ren Hongfei has a longer-term vision. Hydrogen metal is currently unique in the world. Once the chip is developed, all the technological blockades of the powers against Xia will be in vain. This is also a great opportunity for Huaiao to truly rise. As long as it is well grasped, it can definitely deal a heavy blow to the other party. Mr. Ren's mind is admirable. How about this? Lunsen will enter Ziwei Electronics under the name of Huaiao, and it will be considered as our joint development. Su Wei was impressed by Ren Hongfei's personality charm and decisively rejected the proposal to acquire Lunsen and changed to cooperation. Anyway, as long as the equipment is in hand, it will be fine. Okay, everything will be arranged by Mr. Su, and we will have a happy cooperation. The big problem in his heart has been cured, and Ren Hongfei is in a good mood immediately. He reaches out and shakes Su Wei's hand tightly again. Although he Donglei didn't understand the technical content, he was happy to know that Huaiao's biggest problem had been solved. When Ren Hongfei told him that Xiaogao's chip technology was likely to surpass the world, he Donglei was even more happy like a child. Although they had left the political arena, the minds of the older generation were all tied to the dream of a strong country. Any news that was beneficial to the country would make them happy for a long time. With a general direction of cooperation, some details were discussed next. Su Wei connected with Xia Wei's video call. Feng Qinghe also connected with a video call of the person in charge of Lunsen. The two sides directly opened a cooperation meeting and put Ziwei Electronics chip manufacturing project on the agenda. With the foundation of the Lunsen technical team, Ziwei Electronics only needs to prepare factories and management personnel. In this way, the speed will be much faster, and it is expected that the trial production of room-temperature superconductor chips made of hydrogen metal will begin within a month. The name of the chip continues to use Lunsen, but the Xianjiao series is added at the end. If the trial production is successful, It will be launched as Lunsan at Xianjiao No. 1 and will be the core of Huaiao's next-generation flagship Hi-13. It was past 8 o'clock in the evening. Donglei International had already left work, and only a few administrative staff stayed behind, waiting for the chairman's arrangements. He Shuang was sitting in the office next door, browsing her phone, looking at the door of the chairman's office from time to time. Click. Finally, the door was opened from the inside, and He Donglei walked out with everyone. Several people looked a little tired, but their expressions were very excited, especially Ren Hongfei and Fang Qinghua, who looked eager to try. "Grandpa, why are you talking so late? Aren't you hungry?" He Shuang immediately came up, looked at He Donglei with a reproachful look, and then looked at Su Wei with an apologetic look. "Haha, Shuang girl, it's all my fault. I talked to Brother Su for a few more words. To express my apology, I'll treat you tonight. How about going to Yangxiao Hotel for a meal together?" Ren Hongfei had a happy smile on his face. After spending an afternoon together, he felt that he and Su Wei hit it off at first sight, and they called each other brothers. "Uncle Ren, how can you call him brother?" He Shuang was immediately unhappy when she heard it. How could she still be inferior to Su Wei? "Oh no, let's just be friends with each other." Ren Hongfei was immediately embarrassed and waved his hands hurriedly. "Okay, Xiao Ren, you have a lot of things to do, so go and do them first. I have booked a family dinner at Fulu Villa tonight, so I won't invite you." He Donglei smiled and said to help. "Well, Brother Su, let's get together another day, okay, Brother Ren?" He Shuang. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 He Family Dinner. Wu Changquang drove the same Phantom as before and sent the three people to a private restaurant with a quiet environment. This is the famous Fulu Villa in Mo City. It is open only to members and reservations are required in advance. "Xiaohu. Try our Mo City home-cooked food tonight, and let Shuang take you around tomorrow." He Donglei walked in front holding Su Wei's hand, and He Shuang was left behind. The little face was full of disappointment, and those who didn't know would think Su Wei was his grandson. "Okay, thank you, old man, for your trouble. Hey, in that case, it's like going home." As he said, the three of them came to a private room called Yalan Garden. The old man didn't knock on the door, but pushed the door and walked in. The private room, which was originally chatting hotly, suddenly became quiet. Su Wei took a closer look and saw that there were more than a dozen people. Fortunately, this private room was large enough, and a large table for 20 people was placed in the middle, so it wouldn't feel crowded when sitting. Seeing He Donglei, everyone stood up quickly. "Dad, why did you come just now? We have been waiting for a long time." A noble lady wearing gold and silver came up to him, with a hint of displeasure on her heavily made-up face. "Dad must have been delayed by something. What's wrong with waiting a moment?" A middle-aged man with a handsome face followed, who looked a bit like He Shuang. "Wait a moment? Is this waiting a moment? It's been an entire afternoon, okay? He's honking. Are you still being unreasonable?" The noble lady immediately got angry and yelled at the middle-aged man. "You, Dad." He Shuang hurriedly stepped forward and grabbed the middle-aged man. "Stop arguing, it's not decent in front of guests." He Donglei's face turned black, and the two stopped. "Xiaohu, I'm sorry to embarrass you." He Donglei didn't expect this to happen. "It's okay, old man," Su Wei said with a smile. "Let me introduce you, this is Shuang's classmate Su Wei. He is also the chairman of Ziwei Group. Ziwei Electronics, which cooperates with our Donglei International, is one of his companies." He Donglei cleared his throat and introduced to everyone. "Ziwei Electronics, it's the small factory that was saved by our Donglei International's orders." The lady immediately looked disdainful. "Humph," He Donglei snorted coldly, and the lady closed her mouth unwillingly. "Su Wei, don't mind, my mother is like this." He Shuang, who was standing aside, hurriedly apologized to Su Wei in a low voice. "It doesn't matter, Auntie is right, my factory is indeed a small factory." Su Wei smiled slightly. For He Shuang's sake, of course he would not care. He was just a little surprised in his heart. How could such a nouveau-riche, tacky lady give birth to a girl like He Shuang? It doesn't fit at all. Then, he Donglei introduced everyone to Sui. First, the handsome middle-aged man was his eldest son He's Honking, and also the father of He Shuang. The noble lady was Liu Yakin, the mother of He Shuang. There was also a 12-year-old boy, He Shuang's younger brother He Yaoduang. However, it seemed that the relationship between the siblings was not good. After raising his eyes and saying hello, He Yaodong lowered his head and continued to play with his mobile phone. Next was the family of the second son He's Hongshan, who had a 16-year-old daughter He Lan. Then came the family of the youngest daughter He Yunfang, who had a 14-year-old son Wang Yizhao and a 10-year-old daughter Wang Jiao. Oh, who are you? Finally, He Donglei was stunned when he saw a young man. He didn't know this man. Dad, his name is Liu Bowen. He's my brother's child. He came to see me today, so we came together. We are all young people, and it's a good opportunity to get to know Shuang. Liu Yakin hurried over to explain. She was just angry and forgot about the business. Hello, Mr. He, Liu Bowen greeted He Donglei with a gentle face. Hello, He Donglei responded indifferently. Shuang, hello. Liu Bowen turned his head and looked at the incomparably beautiful He Shuang, with a hint of obsession in his eyes. Hello, please call me by my full name He Shuang. He Shuang replied politely, but she was very dissatisfied with this person calling her by her nickname. He, Shuang, Bowen is also your cousin, but he has been studying in the United States, so you haven't seen him much? Now he is back to Magic City to develop, so you should go out more in the future. Liu Yakin glared at He Shuang and hurriedly spoke to ease the embarrassment between them. If you want to go out, go out. Anyway, I won't go. He Shuang got angry, and 10 cows couldn't pull her back, not to mention Sui was watching from the side. She didn't want to cause any misunderstanding. Hey, you kid, okay, everyone is hungry, sit down and eat and chat. He's Honking hurriedly came out to smooth things over. That's right, sit down and eat while talking, others also echoed. Soon everyone sat down. He Donglei sat in the first seat, Sui was pulled by him to sit on the right, and He Shuang naturally sat down with Sui. But Liu Yakin insisted on arranging Liu Bowen next to He Shuang, and sat down herself. The family dinner officially began, and exquisite home-cooked dishes from the Magic City were served on the table. Compared with the spicy food in Huatou City, the taste of Magic City is light, sweet and sticky, which Sui doesn't like very much. But the chefs here are very skilled, and even if they don't like it, it tastes good. Bowen, are you planning to find a job in the Magic City this time? Liu Yakin deliberately asked Liu Bowen. And, I already have a job, the Assistant General Manager of Helen International Asia Pacific. This time I came back mainly to help the company find high-quality projects and prepare for investment, Liu Bowen answered elegantly. Oh my god. Is it the Helen International in the top 10 in the world? Liu Yakin's exaggerated voice attracted everyone's attention. Hearing the words Helen International, a trace of envy appeared on their faces. Although Donglei International is famous, it is only in China and is nothing in the world. But Helen International is different. It is a capital giant and is famous all over the world. Sister-in-law, my family has a lot of projects. You have to ask Bowen to help us take a good look, He Yunfeng said with joy. If we can hold the thigh of Helen International, we will be really rich. Of course, Liu Yakin immediately felt proud. Seeing the envious eyes of everyone, Liu Bowen smiled elegantly at He Shuang, but the smugness in his eyes could not be hidden. Helen International, Sui was stunned for a moment while biting a crab claw. How can the world be so small? He remembered the last time at the Beijing airport, he handed out a pure gold business card. It seems that he is also from Helen International. I heard that he is the general manager of the Asia-Pacific region. Could he be Liu Bowen's boss? I wonder if he has a business card made of gold. HMPH, Mr. He on the side looked unhappy, and seemed to have no good impression of Helen International. Grandpa, what's wrong? Sui asked the old man. Helen International is a puppet of the United States. Its shadow can be seen in the sanctions against Xia country, He Donglei said with an indignant look. It's a pity that they are powerful. No matter how much you dislike them, you still have to do business with them and watch them make money from your country. This is the price of backwardness. Chapter 83 Mom's favorite song. The meal was a bit depressing. It was originally intended to welcome Sui, but it turned into a large-scale event to curry favor with Liu Bowen. Liu Yakin was smiling from ear to ear throughout the whole process, with a face full of smugness. This made Shuang very depressed, and she could only keep putting food into Su Wei's bowl, which made Liu Yakin and Liu Bowen feel a toothache. Fortunately, Su Wei had been strengthened and had a huge appetite, otherwise he really couldn't fit it. Bowen, if you have nothing to do, come to my house and sit down. Anyway, your parents are in the United States, and there are not many people at home. After the meal, Liu Yakin greeted Liu Bowen warmly. Okay, Aunt. I haven't seen you for many years, and I just happen to have a lot to say to you. Liu Bowen immediately climbed into his honking's car. Shuang, let's go home. Liu Yakin turned around and shouted to Shuang. Dad, Mom, you go back first, I'll take Su Wei to the hotel. Shuang grabbed Su Wei and ran, disappearing in the crowd on the street in a blink of an eye. Hey, this damn girl, he's honking. Look at your daughter, what has she become? Liu Yakin shouted at his honking in the car with an angry face. His honking looked down at his phone and pretended not to hear. Humph, I'm really mad, and, don't be angry, it's only natural for cousin Shuang to greet her friends. Let's go back and continue chatting. My parents also asked me to bring a lot of words, Liu Bowen consoled with a smile. Alice, this girl, if she was half as sensible as you, it would be great, Liu Yakin said angrily and got into the car. The car started slowly, merged into the traffic, and drove towards the direction of his house. A silver bell-like laughter came from the Pujiang River in the Magic City. I saw a pure girl in a white dress and a long skirt pulling a boy, running on the pedestrian street by the river. Long hair fluttering, Luo skirt flying. Passers-by kept looking back. What are you so happy about? Su Wei asked when Shuang stopped running because she was tired. It feels so good to run. All the depression of the night has disappeared. You didn't see that Liu Yakin's face was black. Haha, Shuang stood by the river, holding the stone railing, looking at the brightly lit Pujiang River and said. Su Wei was stunned. She is not my mother, Shuang then gave the answer. It turned out that Liu Yakin was Shuang's stepmother. Her biological mother died unexpectedly when she was a child, and then her father honking married Liu Yakin. Liu Yakin did not abuse Shuang, but after all, she was not a biological daughter. After having a younger brother Dong, the gap between them became even greater. In addition, Shuang has been very close to the old man since she was a child, which made Liu Yakin very dissatisfied. She always thought that the old man wanted to hand over Donglei International to Shuang. In the past few years, Liu Yakin has found many young talents to come to her house, hoping to marry Shuang off quickly so as not to threaten Dong's position. It is precisely because of this that Shuang chose to go to school in the distant Hulu city to avoid Liu Yakin's interference. This time, Liu Yakin said on the phone that she had something to discuss, but she didn't expect it to be the same as before. She called her back on the pretext of arranging a meeting between her and Liu Bowen. If Su Wei hadn't followed her, she would have had to go through another tormenting blind date. In fact, I have no interest in Donglei International at all. I only like singing. But she doesn't believe it at all. As long as I'm at home for one day, she will probably keep doing this. Oh, it's so annoying. Looking at the rolling river water in the night light, Shuang looked melancholy. Doesn't your father care? After my mother left, my father was heartbroken and never recovered. Otherwise, Grandpa wouldn't have to work hard for the company at such an old age. Shuang looked sad. Every family has its own problems. I'm sorry for mentioning your sad story. Su Wei reached out and pressed Shuang's shoulders to comfort her. Who would have known that the beautiful schoolgirl had such a miserable life? It's okay. I've been used to it for so many years. I just feel a little emotional. Shuang smiled and raised her hand to hold Su Wei's palm. The warmth between them made people feel peaceful. Do you know why I want to learn music? Shuang changed the subject with a smile on her face. Why? Because music can purify the mind and comfort the soul. More importantly, my mother also likes music. She once had a dream of becoming a singer. But she gave it up in order to marry my father. So, do you want to fulfill this dream for your mother? Yes. So I want to learn music, stand on the stage, and sing my mother's favorite song. Okay, I support you. Really, of course. Thank you, Su Wei. Shuang felt warm in her heart and rushed over to give Su Wei a sweet kiss. However, before Su Wei could react, she flew away like a lark, leaving behind a string of silver bell-like laughter. However, This lark's little face was rosy and very cute. Great. You dare to attack me by surprise. Don't run away, Su Wei shouted and chased after her. The night is beautiful and the nights are long by the Pujiang River. Late at night, a taxi drove to the door of the He family villa. He Shuang got out of the car with a red face. Until now, she is still savoring the passionate kiss after being caught by Su Wei, which is full of endless sweetness. Opening the door, the headlights in the hall were still on. Liu Yakin sat on the sofa with a gloomy face, and He's honking was watching the news on the side. Dad, Mom, it's so late, why are you still not sleeping? He Shuang had to bite the bullet and walked over. Humph, don't you just want me to be unable to sleep? Who are you pretending to be now? Liu Yakin's anger instantly burst out. Liu Boan never waited for He Shuang to come back, which made her aunt, feel very embarrassed. You, humph, are unreasonable. He Shuang was so angry that her face turned pale. Liu Yakin was getting more and more unreasonable. Why is it unreasonable? You are a girl, and you send a man to the hotel in the middle of the night. If this gets out, will our He family still have face? Su Wei is my classmate, and he is recognized by my grandfather. What is there to be ashamed of? Oh, you are still right. Your cousin has been waiting for you here all night, and you deliberately didn't come back. Are you trying to make me jealous? If you find people I don't like every day, I won't come back. After saying this, He Shuang ran upstairs and locked herself in the room. He's honking, listen and look, this is your daughter. My son will never be as uneducated as her. Without an object to vent her anger on, Liu Yakin immediately poured her fire on He's honking who was standing beside her. The child is grown up and has her own ideas. Let her be. He's honking looked calm. He was used to this situation. You mean I'm meddling in other people's business? He's honking, you are a heartless, ungrateful bastard. Don't forget to marry you without hesitation when your He family was in decline and used all her dowry to help your He family recover. Now that the He family is on the rise, you don't like me anymore, right? You keep talking about her all day and don't even want to look at me. Am I not as good as a dead person? Liu Yakin turned into a shrew. Yui's honking suddenly jumped up, his face was ferocious as if he wanted to eat people, and Liu Yakin stopped abruptly. Hey, I have something to do tonight, you can sleep alone. After a long time, He's honking returned to his decadent state and turned to the study. He's honking, you bastard. Liu Yakin's resentful cry came from behind, but unfortunately, her tears were worthless after she shed too many times, and the man in front of her had already become numb. Chapter 84 Crunchy, Pork Flavor. The next morning, Su Wei met He Shuang in the hotel lobby. But the other party looked tired and had dark circles under his eyes, which was obviously the sequelae of not sleeping well last night. Shuang, what's wrong? Didn't you sleep well last night? Su Wei asked in surprise. Well, Su Wei, let's go back to Huidu City. He Shuang looked sad. She blamed herself all night, because it was because of her existence that the family was extremely disharmonious. If it weren't for her, her father would not have endured it for so many years. So, she came to the conclusion that she should leave this family so that both of them could have a peaceful space. Okay. I'll book a flight right away. Without saying anything, Su Wei immediately took out his mobile phone and booked 2 nearest return flights. Then, the two took a taxi to the airport. If you are in a bad mood, you naturally have no interest in playing, so you might as well go to the airport early and wait. That afternoon, Su Wei and the others returned to Huidu City. As the distance increased, He Shuang's mood gradually improved, and she suggested to accompany Su Wei to play to make up for the unhappy trip to Motu City. But Su Wei did not agree. After all, she did not rest well last night. So he sent He Shuang back to number 3 courtyard of Yunshujian, and then asked Jin Ziafang to send him to Ziwei Group. When Su Wei arrived at the headquarters of the group, he saw that everyone was busy like a swarm of bees, coming in and out, and urging voices one after another. Sister Wei, what are you so busy about? Su Wei came to the general manager's office with a suspicious look on his face, and asked Xia Wei who was busy. Stinky brother, this is all your fault, why are you asking me? Xia Wei looked up and rolled her eyes at Su Wei and buried her head in the documents in her hands. Me? What did I do? I didn't do anything. Su Wei sat down across the desk with an innocent look. Humph, does picking up girls count? Xia Wei said sourly. Ahem, Sister Wei, can we still have a good chat? Su Wei smiled awkwardly. It's all because of Huio. They didn't notify us in advance. Early this morning, an announcement was posted on the official website that Lunson would enter Zhuhai Electronics. As a result, a large number of equipment suppliers, material suppliers, and buyers have come to us to discuss cooperation. What's worse is that Huawei announced on its official website that it will enter the research and development of 4-nanometer chips. Do you know what this means? It means that Xia country already has the world's top lithography machines, and all this happened after entering Zhuhai Electronics, so all the focus is on Zhuhai Group. The key is that we know nothing about 4-nanometer chips, and you didn't even give us any information. If we don't know anything when asked, wouldn't it be embarrassing? So, I'm mobilizing all my troops to make up for the lack of knowledge about chips. Xia Wei became more and more resentful as she spoke, and in the end she wished she could bite Su Wei twice. Accident, pure accident. Brother Ren didn't tell me that he would publish the announcement today. I thought it would take 2 days to prepare. Su Wei was immediately furious. Ren Huangfei was too impatient. Yesterday, they only talked about the general situation, which was completely unqualified for an official announcement. What Su Wei didn't know was that his confidence yesterday made Ren Hongfei have blind trust in him. He couldn't hold back and blew the horn of charge. He had to endure it all night, otherwise he would have announced it last night. It's too late to say anything now. Hurry up and hand over the technical information, Xia Wei said as she directly searched Su Wei's trouser bag, with an attitude of surrendering her gun but not killing her. Sister Wei, be gentle. No, not that place. Oh, don't pull it. The information is not with me. Su Wei almost surrendered. You didn't bring the information, so what are you doing here? Xia Wei returned to her seat with a flushed face and looked at Su Wei shyly. Haha, if I miss you, I'll come and see you, Su Wei interrupted casually. Bah, that sounds good. Have you seen it now? Yes, then hurry up and get the information. Yes, Su Wei fled from the CEO's office in a panic. Where are the sweet words he promised? Alice, it's still the hard life of moving bricks. Su Wei quickly asked Jin Xiaofang to take him to Jinxi Garden, and then teleported to the wasteland world. Driving a large transport truck to the Phaeton base, Su Wei saw Xiaobei's huge body on the top of the city wall from a distance, and next to him was the inseparable ice and snow goddess Zhangling. This was the title given to her by the survivors of the base. In the last battle, Zhangling became the trump card of the Phaeton base, deterring all sides. In addition, with the fall of the 3 settlements of Rolling Stone, Scorpion and Rat, other settlements around were full of for the Phaeton base, and they dared not come up with any tricks. Phaeton became famous in one battle and became a local emperor in this land. Bang! When Su Wei's transport vehicle arrived at the gate, Xiaobai leaped from the wall and landed on the roof of the transport vehicle with a bang. After making a cat-like cry, he lay on the roof and took a nap. Fuck, this guy is really addicted, Su Wei couldn't help but smile bitterly. In the entire base, and even in the surrounding area, only Su Wei could afford this gas guzzler. After parking the car, Su Wei jumped down and looked over. Zhangling also happened to look over, and their eyes met in the air. But the next second, Zhangling turned her head to look over, as if she just happened to patrol. Noticing Zhangling's subtle changes, Su Wei couldn't help but let out a sly laugh of delight. If it were before, this girl would definitely stare at you fiercely until you were embarrassed. Now, it seems that she is a little bit unconfident. This is good, showing the cuckold spirit of our old Su. Xiaobei, come, I'll give you a treat. Su Wei walked leisurely to the rear of the car, opened the compartment, and dragged out a whole fresh pork. Wow, this is extremely pure pork, without mutation or pollution. Xiaobei immediately jumped out of the car after smelling the smell, and his mouth was drooling. Here, eat it. Su Wei raised his hand and the whole pig flew up. Roar, Xiaobei jumped up and bit it. Only a quarter of the whole pig was missing, and he didn't even spit out the bones. Crunchy, porky taste. In just 3 or 2 bites, Xiaobei finished the whole pig, then turned to look at Su Wei, his eyes full of expectation. No more, Su Wei didn't expect Xiaobei to have such a big appetite, and waved his hands helplessly. Roar, Xiaobei was immediately unhappy, and gave Su Wei a sidelong look, and walked away in small steps without recognizing any relatives. Fuck, ungrateful wolf. Oh, no, it should be ungrateful cat. It seems like I need to prepare more next time. By the way, Xiaobei is a cat. How about getting some sharks or something? What cat doesn't like fishy smells? That's right, let's do it. In order to keep Zhangling, Su Wei has gone to great lengths, not only attacking Wu Mai and others, but even her pet Xiao Bei. What is this? Is he worse than a beast? Or is he just like a beast? Chapter 85 Brother is just a legend. After feeding Xiao Bei, Su Wei strolled to the Ministry of Science and Technology and found Ji Tongguang and others. When it comes to hydrogen metal manufacturing chips, Ji Tongguang's intelligent brain has ready-made information, but it needs to be modified, greatly reducing the accuracy and design. Su Wei directly gave a new fruit mobile phone to Liu Hongxi to disassemble and study, as long as it can reach the production level of the chip inside. Although it is a downgrade, the performance of the chip made of hydrogen metal is also much higher than that of the silicon core. As for the burner used in production, it no longer uses photolithography technology, but uses more advanced wave etching technology, so it should be called a wave etching machine. What a coincidence, the original site of the Rolling Stone base was a wave etching machine manufacturing factory. Su Wei immediately led people to the Rolling Stone base. When he saw it, Su Wei was so angry that he almost cursed. A large number of wave etching machines were dismantled and scattered on the open space outside the base, like a garbage dump. After asking, I learned that a core component of the wave etching machine, the ripple generator, can make energy weapons, so it was ordered to be dismantled by the original leader and sold to a large base. Damn. If Zhang Ling hadn't blown the head off this wasteful thing, even the body wouldn't have been found in the chaos. Su Wei really had the urge to pull that thing out and whip the corpse. Finally, a few surviving wave engraving machines were found in the old warehouse of the Rolling Stone base. Some of them were old, so the buyers didn't like them. Liu Hongxi immediately took people to check and found that the equipment was normal, except for some wear and tear and reduced precision. Anyway, Su Wei's requirement for precision was only nanometers, and these old equipment were more than enough. So several old equipment were transported back to the Phaeton base by Su Wei as treasures. Also transported back were those new machines that lacked core components. Who knows when the ripple generator will be found again? Su Wei asked people to repair and adjust the parameters of the wave engraving machine overnight, and specifically asked Ji Tongguang to make a program lock to lock all the femtometer level parameters and only leave the nanometer level. The secret key will naturally be transmitted to Su Wei's smart bracelet and opened when needed. After explaining everything, Su Wei went to the camp of Bloody Rose to ask about their well-being, and moved the young girl and the young wife to tears. Afterwards, Su Wei went to Songdan and Yuna to discuss the true meaning of life. Surprisingly, Yuna had completely absorbed the energy of the fire corpse crystal, breaking through 2 levels in a row, and reached the strength of a 4th level awakener in one fell swoop, giving the Phaeton base another trump card. A short separation is better than a new marriage, and I can't sleep for a long time. The next morning, Ji Tongguang came to report with dark circles under his eyes, and the chip information and the wave engraving machine were all in place. This made Su Wei feel that he had everything after just sleeping. Well, it's great, this is the feeling he wants. After distributing sufficient food rewards to the Ministry of Science and Technology, Su Wei drove a fully loaded transport truck away from the base and drove into the vast wilderness. I don't know if it was an illusion, but Su Wei felt that Zhang Ling on the top of the city wall had been watching him for a long time. Girl, don't worship me, I'm just a legend. After returning to the modern world, Su Wei immediately put the wave engraving machine into the cargo yard. The outer packaging was a large box for food, and ordinary people could not see what was inside. After coming out of the cargo yard, Su Wei asked Jin Xiafang to drive him to the headquarters of Ziwei Group. Oh my god, why are there so many people? When Su Wei walked out of the elevator, he was startled by the media reporters surrounding the door. Everyone looked back and found that it was a young man, so they didn't pay much attention. However, among this group of people, there was a young female reporter in her 20s who felt that Su Wei looked familiar. After taking a closer look, she suddenly had stars in her eyes. Isn't that the chairman of Ziwei Group? She happened to be present at the last Ziwei press conference. Perhaps because they were young people, she had a particularly deep impression of Su Wei. Hello, President Su, I am Fan Xiaofang, a reporter from Hudu Daily. May I ask, stop. Your microphone is stuffed in my mouth. Fan Xiaofang was pushed away by Su Wei before she could finish her words. My goodness, this girl seemed to be running at full speed, and she directly put the microphone into Su Wei's mouth. The speed was so fast that it was impossible to stop. Sorry, what? Mr. Su, he is Mr. Su, the chairman of Zui Group. Fan Xiaofang's apology was instantly drowned out by a wave of reporters who were originally gathered at the door and immediately swarmed in, drowning the two of them in an instant. Su Wei seemed to have fallen into the factory, surrounded by deafening noise. Oh no, save Mr. Su! The sharp-eyed Wang Na immediately noticed Su Wei's embarrassment and quickly called the security guards to rush out. They cut through the thorns and even pulled their hair apart, and finally squeezed in front of Su Wei, and worked with the security guards to open a gap. Su Wei was like a monkey who escaped from the trap, and slipped into the company. Sister Wei, what's going on now? It's too scary. Su Wei was still scared when he was sitting in Xia Wei's office. Those reporters were too dedicated. Huiao Group is a top boss, and we are now the mistress of a rich man. Do you think this is popular? Xia Wei also had a bitter smile on her face. Obviously, she was also shocked when she came this morning. If it weren't for the Shengwen sisters' escort, she would have been in a mess. Oh, what's the matter? That's not all. Look online. Now the doubts about us are all the same, without any mixed colors. Questioning what? Questioning high-end lithography machines, questioning high-end chips, and questioning whether Zui Group is a large-scale pyramid scheme. Let them question it. Facts speak louder than words. When we make chips, we can shut everyone up, that's what you say, but the public opinion can melt gold. I'm worried that some people will have ulterior motives, Xia Wei said with some concern. When the enemy comes, the general will fight, and when the water comes, the earth will cover it. Let's go to the electronics company, let's do our own thing and let others talk. Su Wei was not worried at all. He didn't make money from these things. Is it important whether other people's comments are good or bad? It doesn't matter. Now? How do we get there? Xia Wei felt a chill on her back when she thought of the group of reporters waiting at the door. Call Sister Shengwen, I'll take you flying. Then, Su Wei really took Xia Wei to fly over the eaves and walls, directly from the 18th floor to the 17th floor, and then took the elevator directly to the basement, where Jin Xiaofang was already waiting. Along the way, Xia Wei's eyes were full of admiration, which made Su Wei feel flattered. Unfortunately, with the two sisters from the Shangwen family, Su Wei could only sit in the co-pilot's seat sadly, missing a chance to be intimate. When they were about to reach the electronics company, they saw a large group of people gathered at the gate from a distance, with long guns and short guns. All of them were media reporters. Oh my god, what's going on? There are people blocking the door here too? Su Wei looked helpless. Xiaofeng, drive to the back of the factory, we'll take the logistics channel, Xia Wei in the back seat commanded skillfully. At first glance, he was a man who had seen a lot of storms. Sister Wei, you are worthy of being my sister. Su Wei did not forget to flatter her. I just know it now. Xia Wei raised her chin, showing her queenly demeanor. As she spoke, the car drove to the logistics gate behind the electronics factory. Wang Jian was waiting at the gate early and welcomed the few people in. Chapter 86 Attracting Attention. Mr. Su, Mr. Xia, the first batch of technical personnel from Huiao Lungsan has arrived at the factory. There are hundreds of them. How should we arrange them? As soon as they met, Wang Jian couldn't help but complain. Development is a good thing, but with so many people pouring in at once, accommodation is a big problem. Xia Wei directly passed the buck and cast her eyes on Su Wei. How is the construction of our new dormitory going? Su Wei glanced at the construction site behind the electronics factory, which is the Zui Industrial Park, which will be directly merged with the electronics factory in the future. The main structure of a dormitory building that can accommodate 3,000 people has been completed, but it has not been decorated yet. Xia Wei is the project manager and naturally knows everything. Mobilize manpower to rush to decorate first, and strive to move in within a week. The materials must be environmentally friendly, and we can't let people say that we cut corners. As for this week, arrange for them to stay in a hotel. Don't be afraid of spending money. They are the future main force of our Zui electronics. They will be well served, Su Wei said with a foxy smile. The best strategy is to attack the enemy's mind. Xia Wei couldn't help but roll her eyes at Su Wei. This stinky little brother had bad intentions again. Wasn't that how she got on the pirate ship in the first place? After solving the problem of Huiao Longxin's personnel, Su Wei arranged for Wang Jian to go to the cargo yard to pull back the wave engraving machine. Afterwards, he and the technician stayed in the new workshop of the electronics company. This stayed for more than half a month. Zhuhai Electronics chip workshop was completed ahead of schedule. The technical team of Longxin, more than 1,000 people, were also transferred to Zhuhai Electronics one after another. And on the basis of adjusting and testing, they directly made the first domestically produced 4nm chip Longxin Xianjiao No. 1. Compared with the silicon-based chips of the same level, the performance has more than doubled. When the chip test passed, not only Zhuhai was boiling, but the whole country of Daxia was boiling. Ren Huangfei and other Huaio leaders chartered a plane to fly directly to Huaidou City and held a grand press conference at the construction site of Zhuhai Industrial Park. When this news came out, even with dust on their heads and mud under their feet, there were still crowds of people at the press conference. Faced with this situation, Su Wei slipped away directly, turning the chip launch conference into Huaio Smart New Phone Launch Conference in seconds. At the conference, Ren Huangfei officially announced the configuration of the next-generation flagship Hi-13, Longxin Xianjiao No. 1 chip, Zhuhai Giant Energy No. 1 hydrogen battery, Huaio Kirin operating system, truly realizing the dream of all-core localization. So far, Xiaoguo's chips, communications, systems, etc. are no longer blocked and clamped by foreign technology. This is not only a successful overtaking on the curve, but also a few streets ahead of the other party. Huaio has a stable source of chips and no longer worries about lack of ammunition. It is producing at full capacity and launched the concept phone Hi-13 in half a month. The ultra-thin body, ultra-long standby time, and ultra-smooth user experience immediately won the favor of consumers. The key is that its price is only half of the same level of fruit phones, which is very attractive. Even some enthusiasts in the United States can't help but buy and use it from other channels. After using it, the fruit phone is no longer attractive. 1 spreads 10, 10 spreads 100. As a result, the American people are calling for the opening of Huaio products. James Bridge, how do you explain this? John D., director of the National Security Agency in the Octagon, sat in a chair with a gloomy face. On the desk in front of him was the latest Hi-13, and next to it was a technical report. Sir, I don't understand what you want me to explain, a middle-aged man standing opposite answered calmly. What? Xiaoguo has such advanced technology, why didn't there be any news before? Are the high salaries of your intelligence department just for feeding pigs? John D. stood up angrily and roared at James Bridge opposite. There was indeed no news before. All our information was officially announced by Xiaoguo. More than a month ago, Xiaoguo officially announced that it had successfully developed hydrogen metal, and then authorized a domestic company called Zhuhai Electronics to produce hydrogen batteries. Half a month ago, Huaio suddenly announced that its chip research and development company would cooperate with Zhuhai Electronics to develop 4nm chips. Half a month later, they actually produced qualified chips, and they were based on hydrogen metal. Until now, as you have seen, the finished products have been launched and sold well. Huaio has regained the top spot in sales, and the momentum is still growing, James Bridge explained calmly. You don't need to tell me what's in these reports. What I want to know is how much similar high-tech Xiaoguo has mastered now, and whether it will pose a threat to us. John D's face turned redder, and even his eyebrows were trembling slightly. Sir, looking through the intelligence department, there is no trace of Xiaoguo's decades of information and archives. These things seem to have come out of thin air. I suspect that Xiaoguo may have obtained some kind of alien technology, James Bridge boldly guessed. Alien technology? No, with the forbearance of Xiaoguo, it would never be so high profile. It must be fully certain before it is announced to the public. So, we must have missed something. John D. suddenly calmed down after hearing this. With his identity, he could naturally get in touch with some little-known things. Sir, I think this matter should start with the Zhuhai Group, James Bridge said bluntly. Whether it is the Xiaoguo government or the Huaio Group, they chose to cooperate with a small and unknown company, which is itself very problematic. Very good. Although your intelligence ability has declined, it is not to the point of being old and blind. This matter is handed over to you. When necessary, you can activate the Avengers. John D's anger dissipated a lot, and he nodded to James. Choked to death, sir, James saluted and turned to leave. John slowly sat back in his chair, clasped his hands together, and his eyes fell back on the technical report on the table. Testing and assumptions about hydrogen metal. The report pointed out that Xiao's hydrogen metal technology has reached a mature stage. Once used in the military field, its military strength will be improved by more than one level. It also pointed out that the computing speed of hydrogen-based chips is nearly twice that of silicon-based chips. If Xia equips it with fire control systems, then whether it is fighter jets, artillery or missiles, it will have a very high first-hand rate. At that time, the U.S. defense system will be in an extremely passive situation. Having been king for nearly a century, John will never allow anyone to threaten the hegemony of the empire. Thinking of this, John reached out and grabbed a red phone on the table. Chapter 87, Ruthlessness is harder than being affectionate. With the hot sales of High 13, Zui Group has entered people's field of vision again. Although the thin and light version of High 12 also made Zui Electronics show its face before, it was only new energy batteries. Not many people paid attention to this area, and most of them were industry insiders. This time it was completely different. Aircraft carriers, engines, chips, high-precision lathes. All of them touched the hearts of the Chinese people. In addition, the technological blockade of the powers against Xia country became increasingly fierce, and the people had an invisible expectation for breakthroughs in high-end technology. The success of Lunsan Xianjia 01 undoubtedly made the people of Xia country feel very proud, and also greatly improved Xia country's international status. Because now the great Xia country has become the only country in the world that can independently produce hydrogen-based chips. Hydrogen-based chips have many advantages such as high efficiency, low consumption, and low cost. With it, who would want to use silicon-based chips? The key is that Xia country is honest and advocates peaceful development, unlike some hegemonic countries that block other countries' necks at every turn. Therefore, many neutral countries have sent congratulatory messages to Xia country, hoping to further strengthen cooperation and obtain the right to import hydrogen-based chips. However, all of these were rejected by Xiaoguo on the grounds of insufficient production. Are you kidding? We haven't even used them at home yet, how can we export them so quickly? The popularity of Zui Group has also made Xiaowei and others anxious. The huge number of orders alone has made the factory feel overwhelmed, and even working overtime feels that there is not enough time. Increasing production is already imminent, but it also takes time. Time is money, and money can't buy time. Su Wei wanted to take out tens of billions to buy some time to use. Unfortunately, this is impossible, and he can only do it step by step. That day, Su Wei had just finished talking to Ren Hongfei on the phone when Zhang Dai called. Hey, Lao Zhang, how is your team going? Almost, but one member is missing. She is not in Huatou City and can only come after graduation. Oh, okay, hurry up and try to compete by the end of this year. Got it, okay, then hang up if you have nothing else to do. Wait, it seems like I called you. It seems so. Isn't it about the team? Su Wei's face turned red. The key is that he has been busy these days. Of course not, damn, I almost got fooled by you. I want to tell you, don't forget the graduation ceremony the day after tomorrow, okay, remember. After hanging up Zhang Dai's phone, Su Wei couldn't help but sigh. 4 years of college passed in a flash. If I hadn't obtained the space ring, I should be busy looking for a job at this moment. Then work hard, find a girl to spend the rest of my life with, get married and have children, and then although the mortgage and car loan are mediocre, it must be very fulfilling. Unlike now, I am busy in two worlds and stained with emotional debts. Alice. Born to be a gentle man, but I gave my heart to gold digger. I want to wield the sword of wisdom to cut off the emotional ties, but it is harder to be ruthless than to be affectionate. Ding ding. Another rapid ring of the mobile phone woke Su Wei from his melancholy. He took it out and saw that it was an unfamiliar number. After hesitating for a while, Su Wei still answered the call. Hello, who is this? Excuse me, classmate Su Wei. A familiar yet unfamiliar male voice came from the phone. It's me, who are you? Su Wei tried hard to recall where he had heard this voice. I am Ma Shangwen, the president of Huatou University. Ah, it turns out to be President Ma. Hello. Su Wei suddenly realized, no wonder this voice felt familiar. Hello, classmate Su Wei, the day after tomorrow is your graduation ceremony. I wonder if you have time to attend, Ma Shangwen asked politely. Yes, this must be there. Well, Su Wei, this is it. Can you come up to the stage as a student representative and give a speech? Your achievements today are enough to make Huatou University proud, and it's just right to set an example for the younger students. Speech? I'll forget it, Su Wei refused without hesitation. Just kidding, He didn't want to be exhibited like a giant panda. Besides, I'm just a porter, and I'm paid. Why should I be so high profile? Oh, so that's it. That's a pity. Ma Shangwen's tone was full of loss. Huadu University finally produced such a genius, and it's a pity that he left like this. By the way, President Ma, I want to discuss something with you. What is it? Tell me. Zui Group is in its rising period and urgently needs a large number of talents in various majors. Can we hold a job fair in the school? Su Wei suddenly got inspired. No problem. Of course, no problem. When do you say? Do you want to move the graduation ceremony to the back? Ma Shangwen was so surprised that he almost jumped up from his seat. A blessing in disguise. I didn't expect Su Wei to have such a big gift for me. It was worth his personal phone call. With the current popularity of Zui Group, it will definitely bring unexpected benefits to Huadu University. Oh, that's not necessary. Let's set the time for the day after tomorrow. Just please announce it on the school website first, so that all the students won't leave. Okay, I'll arrange it right away. Ma Shangwen hung up the phone in a hurry. Hearing the busy tone on the phone, Su Wei was speechless. This old man was too impatient. Forget it. I'd better call Xia Wei and ask her to send a formal document to Huadu University in the name of Zui Group to avoid any trouble. Hey, stinky brother, do you miss me? As soon as the phone was connected, Xia Wei's lazy and charming voice came. She worked overtime last night, so Su Wei asked her to sleep a little longer at home and come to the company in the afternoon. Anyway, the overall situation has been decided, and the rest is to develop step by step. Sister Wei, are you up? Su Wei was speechless. This girl always teases him. She is playing with fire, understand? Not yet. Is there something? Well, I contacted Huadu University and plan to hold a job fair there. Anyway, the group needs to reserve talents, so it won't be a waste of money. Okay. Then how about donating some more money to the school? Xia Wei thought of public relations as soon as she heard it. Okay, you decide. Maybe you can set up a scholarship fund to encourage students to study hard. Su Wei was inspired again as soon as she heard it. No problem, let the legal department take care of it. By the way, when is the job fair scheduled? Speaking of business, Xia Wei became serious. The day after tomorrow. You can arrange the specific time. Once it is set, just send a letter to the principal. Okay, I'll call and arrange it now. It's not that urgent. You can sleep a little longer. Forget it. I can't fall asleep if I wake up now. Chapter 88 Mysterious Person. The two chatted on the phone for a while before Su Wei hung up. Ding ding. As soon as he put down the phone, the ringing sounded again. Su Wei felt like he was about to collapse. Is this the price of success? He picked up the phone and saw that it was another unfamiliar number. Hello, Su Wei answered the phone and asked unhappily. Zio Wei, a familiar old voice came from the phone. Hey Mr. Xia, why is it you? I thought it was a scam call, haha. Su Wei looked very embarrassed. Oh, I was wondering. Why are you so excited, haha, that's so careless. I wonder what the old man wants me to do. Zio Wei. Are you free recently? Come to Beijing when you are free. Is there anything? Well, there is something, and it's quite urgent. But if it's not convenient for you, I can go there. No, you call me, and I have to make time even if I don't have time. How about this? I will book a flight now, and fly over with Sister Wei in the afternoon. Okay, I'll wait for you. After saying that, old Master Xia hung up the phone. Hey, why did you become a busy person? What about the salted fish life, eating and waiting to die? Su Wei smiled bitterly and called Wang Na, asking her to book 4 tickets to Beijing. Why 4? Of course, it's because there are the Shangwen sisters. Hey. Since they have been protecting him closely, Su Wei has no chance. How about getting a batch of strengthening potions? Well, this seems to be very interesting. After booking the flight tickets, Jin Ziafang drove Su Wei back to Yanshujian, picked up Xia Wei and the other 2 girls, and then rushed to the airport without stopping. At around 2 p.m., the plane landed at Beijing Shuangai Airport. When he came out of the exit, he saw a man in black holding a sign with the 2 characters Su Wei written on it. Strange, why wasn't someone from the Xia family picking him up? Su Wei and Xia Wei walked up to the man in black suspiciously. I'm Su Wei. Are you sent by old Xia? Su Wei asked the man with an ordinary appearance but a resolute temperament. Yes, Mr. Su, Miss Xia, please follow me. The man in black nodded expressionlessly, giving people a mechanical feeling. As he spoke, he came to the door, and a black business car drove over. The driver was also dressed in black and had a cold face, looking resolute. Soldier, Sue couldn't help but feel that way. The car merged into the street, turned and drove for a long time, and then drove into a quiet road, with fully armed soldiers along the way. Finally, the car stopped outside a quiet courtyard. Please, the robot man led a few people into the courtyard. The soldier guarding the door checked his ID and immediately let them pass. The courtyard was beautiful like a fairyland with pavilions, waterside pavilions, small bridges and flowing water. And it was so big that you couldn't see the end at a glance. The robot man drove an electric shuttle bus and drove a few people to a big house. Miss Xia, please rest here. Entering the first floor of the big house, the robot man pointed to the rest area and said to Sue. Sue was hesitant, not knowing what this guy was doing. Sue, don't worry, this is the garden where the leaders live, nothing will happen, Shang Wenfei said to Sue softly. One sentence revealed shocking information. Yet, Sue nodded and followed the robot man upstairs. It was not until he reached the top floor that he saw the figure of Grandpa Xia. And an old man in his 60s or 70s sat opposite him. There was a person standing behind the old man, Secretary Liu, who had been to Huidu City last time. The latter saw Sue and smiled slightly on his serious face. Xiaohu, come here. Hearing the footsteps, old Xia turned around and saw Sue, so he smiled and waved to him. Old Xia. Secretary Liu, Sue walked forward and greeted him politely. Xiaohu, this is Old Lei. Old Xia pointed at the old man opposite and introduced him to Sue. Hello, Chief. Seeing his temperament, Sue couldn't help but blurt out, and subconsciously gave a not-so-standard military salute. The pronunciation was clear and sonorous, as if he was a soldier being reviewed. Haha, young man, not bad. Old Lei and others were amused by Sue's reaction. What's the matter? It's not a big military parade. I'll call you Xiaohu too. Don't be so serious. I just want to have a casual chat with you today. Sit down. Old Lei smiled kindly and extended his hand to let Sue sit down next to Old Xia. Hey, kid, I haven't met such a big leader yet. I was so excited that I couldn't help myself, Sue explained with an embarrassed look on his face. This was really embarrassing. Ho. This remark caused another round of laughter, but the unfamiliar atmosphere also became familiar. Xiaohu, you and Lungxin have successfully developed a 4-nanometer hydrogen-based chip. After the joke, Lei Lao's expression gradually became serious. Yet, Sue didn't know what Lei Lao's purpose was, so he could only nod in agreement. Xiaohu. You haven't thought about this matter, Xia Lao on the side spoke up to give him some advice. Is there anything wrong? Sue was stunned when he heard this. It's not that our country can't make 4-nanometer chips, but the cost is a bit high and it's not competitive in the market. Relatively speaking, with a handle of being controlled by others, the United States will be careless about us, leaving more time and space for us to catch up. But now, you have made the most advanced hydrogen-based chip in the world in one go. This is equivalent to attracting everyone's attention to Xiaohu. Old Xia continued to explain his doubts. An innocent man is guilty of possessing a treasure, right? Sue suddenly realized that he was still too young. That's right. The more people are watching, the more shortcomings will be exposed. Old Lei nodded in agreement. However, don't have any psychological burden. Young people are brave and daring. This time we asked you to come here mainly because we got news that the United States has already set its sights on you and your Zui group, Old Lei continued. If they dare to come, I will make them never come back, Sue said with a domineering face. He has absolute confidence in this. Xiao, don't underestimate the enemy. The United States is just one of the bigger enemies. Other countries will certainly not sit idly by. You will have to face the whole world when the time comes. Although Sue was known to be quite skilled, the enemies hiding in the dark were the most dangerous. Old Master Xia reminded him. Well, Old Master Xia, I know. I will deal with it carefully, Sue nodded in agreement. Well, Old Master Lei and I agree that we should send special forces to strengthen the protection of Zui electronics. What do you think? Don't worry. They are only responsible for the security of the periphery and will never involve the core secrets of the chip. Old Master Xia had a questioning expression on his face. After all, Zui Group now belongs to Sue personally, and it involves the technology of hydrogen-based chips. Su Wei has already provided hydrogen metal to the country. Old Master Xia and others do not want to cause unnecessary misunderstandings, so they specially asked him to come and discuss. Okay, I have no objection, Su Wei immediately nodded and agreed. Free labor is not to be missed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89, Treat Others in Their Own Way. Ziwei Electronics is safe, so there are fewer worries. As for Xiaohu, I heard from Elder Xia that you are also a rare master, so we won't add unnecessary details about your own safety. However, this is only limited to the country. If you go abroad, you still have to tell Elder Xia so that we can be prepared, Elder Lei said happily. When this was said, everyone else was secretly surprised. This treatment is almost catching up with the national scholars. You know, national scholars are people who have made great contributions to the country, and there are only a few of them at present. No problem, Su Wei nodded casually. Anyway, he has no plans to go abroad at present, so let's talk about it later. We have talked about the enemies in the dark, now let's talk about the enemies in the open. Elder Lei lit a cigarette and took a deep breath. The expression on his face was also much more relaxed. It is easy to dodge an open spear, but it is difficult to guard against an arrow from the dark. The problem of the dark arrow has been solved, and the open spear is naturally out of the question. The open one? There is still. Su Wei couldn't help but be stunned. When he was with these big guys, why did he feel that his brain was not enough? Of course, Xiao Wang, you can talk to Xiao Wei. By the way, he is our diplomat Wang Jianfeng. Lei Lao pointed to the middle-aged man who had been sitting aside without saying a word and said, "Hello, idol. I often see you on TV, and people call you the most handsome diplomat. Can you give me an autographed photo later?" Xiao Wei had been paying attention to Wang Jianfeng for a long time, but he never had the chance to say hello. In the past, I was inexplicably excited when I saw Wang Jianfeng arguing with many people on TV, but I didn't expect to see him in person today. I'm not an idol, but if Mr. Su is willing, we can take a photo together, so that I can also benefit from Mr. Su's fame, as expected of a diplomat. After a brief moment of confusion, Wang Jianfeng immediately reacted and answered modestly and unpretentiously. Okay, Su Wei really took out his mobile phone and walked over to take a photo with Wang Jianfeng. This straightforward character made Lei Lao very interested, and he asked everyone to sit over and take a photo. Later, this photo was circulated, and the people on it were all big shots. Of course, these are all later stories. Mr. Su, the United States has made many offensive remarks to us now, all involving hydrogen metal and hydrogen-based chips. So, I need to ask for your opinion on the words of response. After taking the photo, Wang Jianfeng began to get back to the point. After seeing Su Wei nodded, he continued, "First, the United States pointed out that my country's hydrogen metal involves monopoly and called on all countries to impose anti-monopoly sanctions on Xiaoguo. Second, the United States said that our 4-nanometer hydrogen-based chip has multiple technical infringements, one of which is about chip design, because they have long restricted the use of design software by Xiaoguo, and we can still manufacture 4-nanometer chips, which means that we have plagiarized their design software. The circuits on the chip have reached the nanometer level, and the number is extremely large and complex. It is impossible to design them by human eyes, and professional design software is needed to complete them. At present, the software that can design chips is controlled by the alliance headed by the United States, so they have sufficient reason to say that Xiaoguo has violated their rights. Finally, the United States also proposed the hydrogen threat theory, saying that after Xiaoguo has hydrogen metal, it will develop super weapons similar to hydrogen bombs, which caused a lot of panic. Humph, do these Americans have any shame? They say we are monopolizing. Don't they have enough monopoly? Super weapons are even more ridiculous, as if they have not studied them themselves. Su Wei was so angry that he laughed. He had seen shameless people, but he had never seen such shameless people. The double standard theorem is already commonplace for the United States. Talking to shameless people is like playing the lute to a cow, old Xia said angrily. That being said, we still have to do some superficial work, old Lei said after flicking the ash from his cigarette. Mr. Su, monopoly, super weapon threat theory, etc. are easy to talk about, they are all nonsense, but this chip design software, if we can't provide strong evidence, I'm afraid we will be criticized by many countries, and the United States will definitely seize this point to impose endless sanctions on us, Wang Jianfeng said with some concern. As far as he knows, there is really no other chip design software in the world. It has been monopolized by the United States and Namibia. Don't worry about this at all. We use self-developed software. Since they want to do this, I will immediately set up a software company to grab the market in this area. I think those countries sanctioned by the United States will definitely like it very much. Su Wei raised the corner of his mouth and smiled. At the beginning, he didn't want to be controlled by others, so the design, manufacturing, and packaging of the chip all came from the Wasteland adaptation, with complete independent intellectual property rights. If that's true, that's great. Wang Jianfeng excitedly stretched out his hand in the air and clenched it hard. With this trump card, he will definitely make the US delegation embarrassed. Also, didn't they say that we monopolize hydrogen metal? Then we can publish the technology. Whoever wants to make it can make it. Didn't they say shamelessly that even if we were given the drawings of the lithography machine, we couldn't make it? Now let's say that even if we give them the drawings of the supercompressor, they can't make it, Su Wei said confidently. The technology in the wasteland world is hundreds of years ahead, and there are so many things involved that it is impossible to imitate them, even if they disassemble the prototype, let alone just the drawings. Besides, it is understandable that there are few mistakes in the massive amount of data and parameters. Give someone a taste of his own medicine. This is a good idea. Haha, I finally feel proud. I can't wait to see the embarrassed faces of those Americans. Old Master Xia was so excited that he slapped the wooden handrails vigorously, like a child. Haha, although it may be suspected of cheating, I also support this. Old Master Lei made the decision with a smile on his face. The top experts have studied the two supercompressors at the first time. Let alone imitating them, they can't even understand them. Moreover, the system programming is in an unknown language, which makes it even more difficult. Then, Wang Jianfeng and Su Wei discussed some details for a long time, and finally left happily. Comrade Xiaohu, our country's chip technology depends on you. You have to keep a close eye on this. Before leaving, Lei Lao took Su Wei's hand and said earnestly, "Don't worry, Lei Lao, I will never let you down." Su Wei immediately patted his chest and promised. Cough, cough, cough. But at this moment, Xiao Lao suddenly coughed, and his two big eyes blinked at Su Wei, as if there was sands in them. By the way, Lei Lao, I decided to donate 2 more wave engraving machines to the country, as well as a complete set of information on the production of nanoscale hydrogen-based chips. Su Wei immediately continued after reading it. If it weren't for Xiao Lao's reminder, he really didn't hear the hidden meaning of Lei Lao's words. Okay, very good. Comrade Xiaohu, the motherland will not forget you. Lei Lao held Su Wei's hand tightly again, with an excited expression. Chapter 90, Eternal Palace. Xiao Liu, what do you think of Su Wei? After Su Wei and Mr. Xia left the attic, Mr. Lei asked calmly. Young and promising, a talent that can be used. Secretary Liu also gave a calm evaluation. Oh. There are not many people who can get such a high evaluation from you, not to mention such a young guy. Mr. Lei turned his head and glanced at Secretary Liu. Based on his understanding of him, he rarely praised people. I am also seeking truth from facts. Su Wei is indeed the most courageous one among the young generation I have ever seen. Secretary Liu couldn't help but recall the scene in Huidu City last time when Su Wei donated hydrogen metal to the country without hesitation. I heard that he knows martial arts and is very powerful. Is it possible that he was sent by someone over there? Mr. Lei asked again. No. I checked. Su Wei's background is very clean. Although I don't know how he got in touch with this so-called high-tech team, I can be sure that he is a good person, and a patriotic good person, Secretary Liu answered carefully. Well, he is indeed a talent that can be used, but he is still too young. Mr. Lei's words are thought-provoking. It's good to be young. You are energetic and have plenty of time to polish, right, Mr. Lei? Secretary Liu suddenly smiled. Haha, you figured this out. It's mainly because of Mr. Lei's good training. Look, you can also say these empty words. No, I'm just being realistic. After going downstairs, Mr. Xia praised Su Wei for his wit. Grandpa, Xiaohu, seeing the two people coming downstairs, Xia Wei, who was sitting in the lounge area, hurried over to greet them. The Shengwen sisters followed behind dutifully. Let's go home and talk while we eat. Mr. Xia happily took Xiaowei in one hand and Su Wei in the other and walked out. It was the same mechanical man who came when they came, who sent everyone directly back to the old Xia family house. The old Xia family house was particularly quiet today. Xiaowei's uncle and her parents were not at home, busy working for the revival of the Xia family. He asked the kitchen to prepare a few delicious dishes, and the three of them ate in the restaurant. Mr. Xia was in a very good mood and took Su Wei to drink a few glasses. The night outside the house was getting darker, and the atmosphere inside the house was getting more and more lively. Xiao Wei, now we are also a family. After eating and drinking, the red-faced old man Xia suddenly said this. The two young people were immediately shocked. Did the old man know about their affairs? It shouldn't be. He hasn't really succeeded yet. Su Wei glanced at Xiaowei with a guilty conscience, and the latter blushed directly. Hey, oh, it was my old man who made a slip of the tongue. It should be said that we are grasshoppers on the same rope. Seeing the embarrassment of the two, old man Xia suddenly realized and hurriedly changed his words. Old Xia, Sister Wei's business is my business. Su Wei quickly expressed his position, making Xiaowei beside him even more embarrassed. But the hand under the table tightly held Su Wei's hand. Haha, good. Xiao was right. In that case, I have a few things to tell you. For some reason, our current leader has already decided to abdicate. The future leader will be chosen from Elder Lei and another person named Yi Hui. You met Elder Lei today. As for Yi Hui, he is very close to the Luan family, as old Master Xia spoke. His face gradually became solemn. Although the Xia family regained their connections due to the life potion, the retirement of the leader will bring unpredictable changes, so many people now have new and different ideas. Su Wei nodded when he heard this. It seems that we still cannot take the Luan family lightly. Xiaohu, do you know the hidden sect? After waiting for Su Wei to digest it, old Master Xia suddenly changed the subject. Hidden sect? I don't know. I have been practicing martial arts with my grandfather since I was a child. Su Wei was stunned when he heard this. Well, that's not surprising. After the decline of Xia's martial arts, they hid from the world and rarely appeared. With the development of technology, people have forgotten their existence. However, these people still have a force that cannot be ignored. So Xia established a special department, Eternal Palace, which specializes in managing the affairs of hidden sects. Yi Hui is the direct leader of the Eternal Palace, and most of the people from the hidden sects are close to him. Old Master Xia continued to introduce. Are the Shengwen sisters also from the Eternal Palace? Su Wei couldn't help but wonder. No, although the Eternal Palace is a department that manages hidden sects, not all hidden sects have joined the Eternal Palace. For example, the Shengwen family, they belong to the Zhanlong Special Operations Department, and are considered to be Lei Lao's subordinates. Old Master Xia shook his head and said. I see. Su Wei suddenly realized that this might be the ruler's balancing act. To put it bluntly, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. In fact, according to the original idea, the Eternal Palace is a defensive shield, and the Zhanlong is a sharp sword. But as time passed, personnel changed, and eventually developed into two independent departments. Although they still adhered to the original responsibilities, they gradually overlapped. Zhanlong would handle some internal issues, and Yang Hengdian would also take on some expeditionary tasks. The biggest difference between the two is that Yang Hengdian led the practice of ancient martial arts, while Zhanlong focused on the development of scientific and technological weapons. Therefore, in a one-on-one duel, Yang Hengdian has the advantage. Zhanlong is stronger in large-scale combat. Su Wei's two donations not only filled the gap for the country, but also enhanced the strength of Zhanlong, so Lei Lao attached so much importance to Su Wei. Xiaohu, not only Xiaogu, other countries have organizations similar to Yang Hengdian and Zhanlong. They manage special personnel internally and kill important targets externally. So, you have to be extra careful from now on. If the United States cannot get hydrogen metal, it is likely to attack you and strangle the opportunity for Xiaoguo to rise. Old Master Xia did not forget to remind him. Well, I know, old man. By the way, what is the name of the special organization in the United States? Su Wei nodded and asked casually. SHIELD and the Avengers are composed of aliens and biochemical soldiers. Their strength should not be underestimated. Biochemical soldiers. Su Wei's heart was moved. Could it be that the United States has mastered the strengthening potion, but where did they get the mutant medicine? The so-called biochemical soldiers are soldiers who have improved their combat effectiveness through genes, drugs, artificial organs and other means. The United States began research many years ago. It is not clear to what extent, but it is certain that the ultimate biochemical soldier is very powerful. Xiaoyu remembered that he had encountered a biochemical soldier from the United States on the battlefield. It was only a primary one, but it had the strength to fight 1,000 alone. If the ancient warriors of Xia country had not arrived in time, there would be no Xia family today. Chapter 91. People with ideals are extraordinary. The three chatted for a long time, but it was mainly Mr. Xia who talked and the two young people who listened. As they listened, the two seemed to have traveled back to that period of turbulent times, feeling the cruelty of war and the difficulty of peace. That night, Su Wei stayed in the old house of the Xia family. Don't think too much? Of course, it was not Xia Wei's boudoir, but in a special guest room. After lying down, Su Wei couldn't calm down for a long time. You can't have the intention to harm others, but you can't be without the heart to guard against others. According to what I saw and heard today, I seemed to have accidentally stepped into a torrent full of whirlpools, and I would capsize if I was not careful. No, I have to find a strong guarantee for my parents, relatives, and friends. It's a pity that the teleportation ring can only be used by one person, otherwise everything in the area of the Bloody Rose would be solved. It seems that the matter of dealing with strengthening potions from the wasteland world has to be advanced, but potions are easy to make, but it's hard to find people. By the way, find Mr. Xia. He should know some veterans. Veterans with a foundation and strengthening potions can create masters in seconds. Nice. After thinking of a solution, Su Wei fell asleep happily. The next morning, Su Wei took the opportunity to mention this matter to Mr. Xia while eating breakfast. Of course, he did not mention the strengthening potion, but only said that he wanted to hire a few reliable bodyguards. Xiaohu, we have already considered the safety of your relatives. Now there are people from Xianlong protecting them secretly, so there shouldn't be any problems. After taking a sip of white porridge, Mr. Xia replied, well, it's better to be careful. One is open and the other is secret, double insurance. Su Wei continued to insist. Well, I know a person who used to be a member of this Hanlong Special Forces, but was removed from the list because of a mistake. He is now in Huadu City. I can give you his contact information. As for whether you can invite him, it depends on you. After speaking, Mr. Xia made a phone call, and then wrote down an address and a name on a piece of white paper. Chenlong. Thank you, Mr. Xia. Su Wei carefully kept the address. He did not ask what was wrong, because he believed that Mr. Xia would not cheat him. After breakfast, Su Wei, Xia Wei and the Shangwen sisters flew back to Huadu City. As soon as the plane landed, Xia Wei's phone kept ringing. After all, it was a big company, and it couldn't go a day without a backbone. At the same time, on the plane, Su Wei asked her to set up Ziwei Software Company as soon as possible and launch a powerful design software called Fuxi. So, Xia Wei went directly to the company headquarters, while Su Wei followed the address given by Mr. Xia to find the mysterious veteran Chenlong. Huadu City, an urban village in the western suburbs. Su Wei walked around and finally found the address written by Mr. Xia, but no one opened the door after knocking for a long time. No one, everyone went to work. No one during the day. A neighbor shouted at Su Wei. Uncle, do you know what time he will come back? Su Wei walked over to ask the uncle. It's not fixed. Sometimes he comes back early. Sometimes he comes back late, very late. Okay, thank you, you're welcome. After saying goodbye to the uncle, Su Wei returned to the car. Xiaohu. Have you found the person? Jin Xiaofeng in the cab quickly stuffed a book in his hand under the seat. No, the neighbor said he went to work. Su Wei adjusted the backrest backwards to make himself more comfortable. Then shall we go back now? Jin Xiaofeng asked. No. I have nothing to do today, so I'll wait here, Su Wei said with a comfortable look on his face. Okay, do you want some water? I'll go buy it. No. By the way, what book were you reading just now? Nothing. Jin Xiaofeng couldn't help showing a shy expression on his face. Is it an action romance book? Su Wei immediately became interested and stared at Jin Xiaofeng and asked. No. Jin Xiaofeng felt even more ashamed and shook his head repeatedly. Hey, we are all men, what's there to hide? But I tell you that if you force yourself to do something, it will all be gone. There are so many beautiful girls in the company. If you work hard for one, won't she be attractive? Algebra. Sue took out a book from under the car seat without saying anything, and was stunned when he opened it. He never thought that Jin Fang would carry a high school book with him, and the notes on it were very detailed and neatly written, which showed that he had spent a lot of effort. Xiaohu, I think I can work harder, Jin Fang said with a shameful look. He was paid a high salary, but he did private work, and was caught by the boss. He was a little bit wrong. Why are you shy in front of me? This is a good thing. Why are you like a big girl? Don't worry, I'm so happy that you are so motivated. Study hard and try to get good grades. You can choose any position in the company in the future. Sue immediately praised and encouraged him. Okay, thank you, Xiaohu. Jin Fang was moved to tears. What is a brother? This is it. Do you want to give you a holiday to review? No, I can use my spare time. The two chatted about everything until it was almost dark, and then they saw a burly man carrying a blind old woman on his back walking towards them. Here you are, I'll go take a look. Sue immediately recognized the man as Chen Long, because he had an indelible iron-blooded aura. Chen Long. Sue got out of the car and walked forward, calling out tentatively. Sure enough, the man stopped and looked at Sue, the young stranger, with a puzzled look on his face. Who are you? Chen Long looked at Sue, who was gradually approaching, and couldn't help asking. My name is Sue, the big boss of Zui Group, and I want to ask you to do security work, Sue said with a kind smile. Sorry, I don't have time, Chen Long refused without thinking. After that, he continued to walk to the house with the old woman on his back, bent down to take out the key from his pocket, opened the door and walked in. Sue didn't care and followed him into the courtyard. This was an old house with an earthen wall that looked shaky and two short tiled houses that were also dark. The small yard was also filled with beverage bottles, beer bottles, broken cartons and other sundries. Please go out. I won't agree. Chen Long put the old man on a chair in the yard, turned and walked towards Sue, with an unfriendly look in his eyes. If this kid keeps nagging, he would teach him a lesson. What's the matter with the old man? Sue suddenly changed the subject and cast his eyes on the old man on the chair. Now it seems that not only is he blind, but even his movements are a problem. Hemiplegia and blindness. Speaking of the old man, Chen Long's eyes were full of self-blame and guilt. What if I say I can cure a good person's disease? Chapter 92 Treatment. What if I say I can cure the old man's illness? Sue's words struck Chen Long like lightning, and he was stunned for a long time before he came back to his senses. Are you sure? He took the old man to all the hospitals in Huatou City, but unfortunately the situation was not optimistic. In addition, the old man suffered a major psychological blow and his body was completely broken. It was a miracle that he could hold on until now. It's not congenital, right? No. Well, then there is at least 99% certainty. Sue nodded. Life potion can repair the body and cure 99% of diseases. It can be said that it can cure everything except the regeneration of broken limbs. Really? Chen Long was even more shocked. The top experts in the hospital did not dare to make such a statement. You can also choose not to believe it. Sue looked confident. Huff, if that's the case, I can do things for you for free, but it can't go against the country and morality, otherwise you should go back. After taking a few deep breaths, Chen Long said to Sue cautiously. Don't worry, I'm doing a legitimate business, just asking you to go back and protect my relatives. Sue smiled and nodded. Isn't this easy to catch? Clothes-searching thief. Okay, I agree, then let's go. Where to? Chen Long was puzzled. Of course, to treat the old man. Oh, okay. Chen Long hurriedly carried the old man on his back and followed Sue out of the yard. But when he saw the brand new Mercedes-Benz, Chen Long was hesitant. Boss, why don't you go first and we take a taxi? He was afraid that the mud on his body would dirty the car. What are you wasting time on? Get in the car when I tell you to. Fang will help, Sue said as he snatched the old man from Chen Long's back and carefully put him on the back seat of the Mercedes-Benz. Seeing this, Chen Long had to follow him. Along, where are we going? After a lot of trouble, the old man finally couldn't help but ask. Mom, let's go to treat your illness, Chen Long replied quickly. Treatment? Why waste that money? Let's not go. Let's go back. The old lady was not happy when she heard about the treatment. She had already spent too much for her illness, and she didn't want Chen Long to spend more. Auntie, It's free. We are friends with Brother Long, and friends should help each other, right? Su Wei comforted her hurriedly. At this time, the car had started slowly and drove towards Yun Shujian. Oh, are you A Long's comrade in arms? The old lady suddenly calmed down. Yes, comrade in arms, Su Wei admitted it generously. He was a major after all, so it was not an exaggeration to say that he was a comrade in arms. But when Chen Long heard this, he couldn't help but pout. This boss lied all the time, making him feel like he was on a pirate ship. Talking and laughing, the few people returned to courtyard number 1 of Yun Shujian. On the way here, Su Wei had called Li Xiaoman and asked her to clean up 2 bedrooms in the middle courtyard of courtyard number 1, and also ordered several set meals from Gishixuan. The world is big, but eating is the most important. After eating the lunchbox sent by Gishixuan, Su Wei prepared to start treating the old man. You all go out and wait first, in the old man's room, Su Wei said to the others. Chen Long looked worried. You just stand guard at the door, can I still run away? Su Wei couldn't help but frown. I am so handsome. And you actually suspect that I am a bad person. Okay, Chen Long had to follow Jin Xiaofeng out of the room. Li Xiaoman, who was walking at the back, carefully closed the door, and the wooden door immediately blocked the sight of the 3 people. Xiaohu, how should we treat it? Are you going to treat me? The old man was obviously a little nervous. Auntie, don't be afraid, we don't have surgery or acupuncture, just take some Chinese medicine, Xiaohu said as he took out a life potion from the storage space. Although he had never drunk it, it was an early product, and it was estimated that Mr. Qin had not seasoned it at that time. Take medicine? Just take medicine, the old man looked puzzled. If it was so simple, Chen Long wouldn't have to be dragged down for so long. Well, open your mouth, the taste may be a bit unpalatable. Su Wei poured the medicine into the old man's mouth. Ugh, even though he was mentally prepared, the old man was still devastated by the taste and almost vomited, but thinking that this was someone's good intention, he quickly held it back and swallowed it into his stomach. After feeding the old man the medicine, Su Wei carefully observed from the side. The old man's originally pale face became rosy with a naked eye. This was not a last gasp, but a sign that the medicine had begun to repair the body. A few minutes later, the old man suddenly snorted heavily. Auntie, how is it? My legs feel sore and numb. Well, the medicine has started to work, Auntie, bear with it. After more than 10 minutes, the old man's face became more and more rosy, accompanied by a layer of dense sweat. Ouch! No, it's too uncomfortable. About 20 minutes later, the old man suddenly shouted, and stood up directly from the chair, twisting his waist and stomping his feet. Click! At this moment, Chen Long rushed in first, but the scene he saw made him stunned, and he stood there as if he was under a spell. Along, the old woman looked up at the door and tentatively shouted at the stunned Chen Long. Mom! Can you see? Can you move? Chen Long was so shocked that his jaw dropped. How long has it been? Less than half an hour, and he is completely healed. God! It's really amazing. Me? The old woman realized that she could not only see, but also move her hands and feet. The great surprise made her feel even less painful. She held Chen Long's hand and shed tears of surprise. Mom, don't cry, don't cry, your eyes were damaged by crying last time, don't let it happen again, Chen Long hurriedly comforted her. Auntie, you haven't fully recovered yet, you still need to pay attention to rest more. Su Wei and others also joined in the comfort. After a long time, the old man was finally persuaded to stop, and then he fell into deep sleep. Several grown men couldn't sleep, so Su Wei brought a few boxes of beer and prepared some snacks, and sat in the yard to drink and chat. As it was getting late, Li Xiaoman didn't go back, so she followed and sat next to Su Wei. Boss, I don't need to thank you for your kindness, everything is in the beer, Chen Long said as he picked up a bottle of 1982 beer and drank it. Good, it's great. Su Wei also drank a bottle. Jin Xiaofeng could only drink slowly, he didn't have the ability of the two. Li Xiaoman drank red wine, which Su Wei brought specially for her. But she was eating snacks more often, one sip at a time, not much, and very frequently. When it comes to snacks, women's appetite is immeasurable. Chapter 93 Graduation. Brother Long, why did you retire? After getting drunk, Su Wei couldn't help but ask the question in his mind. Oh, it's hard to explain. A flash of pain flashed in Chen Long's eyes, and he drank another bottle of wine. He took advantage of the alcohol to tell the story. It turned out that Qianlong was the captain of a special operations team of the Zhanlong Special Operations Department. When they returned from an overseas mission, they encountered the rebels slaughtering civilians. He couldn't help it and rushed up. Although he eliminated the executioner, he exposed the target and was attacked by the rebels. More than half of Qianlong's team was killed or wounded. Although this was not his decision alone, as the captain, he failed to make the right command and was derelict of duty. So, after his injury healed, Qianlong retired from the army. After returning, he took out all his savings and sent them to the homes of several comrades who died, but when he came to the last one, he encountered a scene that made him angry. The mother of the comrade who died actually lived in a pigsty, eating, drinking, defecating and urinating on that broken bed, with no one to take care of her, leaving her to fend for herself. Qianlong almost couldn't help killing someone. The mother was the old woman on Qianlong's back, Zhang Qihu. After receiving the notice of her eldest son's death, she was so sad that she became paralyzed. The younger son's family immediately despised her. As time went on, she was insulted and abused. Sometimes no one cared about her for several days, leaving her to fend for herself on the stinking bed. Fortunately, the little granddaughter couldn't bear it and often stole some food and water for her, so she survived. Zhang Qihu was heartbroken and cried all day long, and eventually cried her eyes blind. This made things even worse. The younger son drove her directly into the pigsty. Just when the old woman wanted to commit suicide, Qianlong appeared and saved her. Since then, Zhang Qihu has become Qianlong's mother. But Qianlong has little money left and can't afford the high medical expenses. And Zhang Qihu needs someone to take care of her, so Qianlong had to take her to Huidu City, working on the construction site to earn money while looking for medical treatment. Because only on the construction site can he take Zhang Qihu to work. It's so infuriating, worse than a beast. Isn't he afraid of being punished by God for treating his mother like this? Brother Long, you should sue them and let the law punish them. At least let him hand over the pension to treat Auntie's illness in life. After listening to Qianlong's story, everyone was excited, and Li Xiaoman was even more angry. Sue. But they insisted that the money was used on the elderly. Alice, Qianlong said helplessly. It's not an action, but it's difficult for a clean official to judge family affairs. Don't be angry, the wicked will be punished by their own wickedness. Now the first thing is to take good care of Auntie Zhang and let her recover as soon as possible. When you are well, you will have time to do anything, right? Su Wei quickly calmed down from his anger. Some people can't be reasoned with. Yes, when Auntie is well, let the company's legal department sue them until they are bankrupt. Li Xiaoman clenched her fist and said passionately. But he is my biological son after all, Qianlong couldn't help but say. After this, everyone fell silent. There must be something hateful about pitiful people. If it weren't for Zhang Qihu's doting, how could the youngest son become like this? The next morning, everyone looked at Zhang Qihu who had woken up, and they all showed shock. After a night, Zhang Qihu not only recovered from all her illnesses, but also looked more than 10 years younger. She was originally 60 years old, but now she looked like she was in her 50s. The whole person's spirit and energy have been greatly improved. Qianlong's admiration for Su Wei instantly reached its peak. Su Wei immediately announced that Qianlong would have an annual salary of 1 million in a Yanshujian villa. Boss, I have a few retired brothers, can I ask them to come together? Qianlong was so excited. How are their skills? Su Wei asked. He didn't want to support idle people. No doubt, they're all elite. Qianlong patted his chest and guaranteed that if it weren't for him, they would not apply for retirement. That's good, ask them to come together. The treatment is the same as yours, and they will be given resettlement allowances and houses. Su Wei waved his hand. Such talents, the more the better. Yes, boss. Qianlong was so happy that he didn't even have time to eat breakfast, and ran to make a phone call. Su Wei was also very happy, and went to the school to attend the graduation ceremony after breakfast. After the school's deliberate publicity, coupled with the recent successive big moves of Ziwei Group, all the teachers and students in the school paid attention to this hidden talent in Huidu University. Although it did not cause a sensational effect, wherever Su Wei went, there were exclamations. Fortunately, the school Bellevue University came to calm the scene, otherwise Su Wei would have been carried away by those wolf-like junior sisters. Of course, the consequence of this is that a large group of He fans fainted in the toilet. Finally graduated. After the graduation ceremony, students took graduation photos on campus in 2s and 3s to record their last days in college. Sui was no exception. He was dragged by Zhang Dui and Zhuang Su to take photos, and of course Hu Xiaoxin's dormitory, and finally even the dormitory of the school Bellevue University joined in. The group of people was so majestic, mainly this year's school belle and male god were among them. It was hard not to attract other people's attention. In the crowd of envious people, a girl looked at Shuang with a ferocious face. She was Liu Tingting. Originally, all the glory would be hers, but unfortunately she played a good hand of cards to pieces. Now the gap between her and Su Wei is getting bigger and bigger, so big that one is in the sky and the other is on the ground, oh no, in the basement, and she doesn't even have the qualifications to look up. Su Wei, who was running back and forth, didn't notice Liu Tingting's distorted face at all, but even if he noticed, he would pretend not to see it. This is the farthest distance in the world. Although close at hand, he turned a blind eye. After taking graduation photos and saying goodbye to the teacher, under the leadership of Su Wei, everyone came to Gishixun in a group for a unique dinner. It is worth mentioning that with the quiet rise of Zui group, Gishixun has abolished the position of Huadna dynasty and become the first catering giant in Huadu city. The arrival of Su Wei and others made Wan Xiaoyu busy and arranged everyone in the largest private room and served the top-level Manchu and Han banquet. Come on, let's clink glasses to celebrate our successful graduation. Su Wei sat in the main seat, raised the wine glass in his hand, and said to the laughing crowd, "Come on. Cheers, cheers, friendship lasts forever, cheers." Everyone raised their glasses and shouted loud slogans. Let's eat. After finishing the first glass of wine, everyone started to fight for the food in front of them. Gishixun mainly uses traditional Xiaoguo cuisine, and has restored and improved many traditional famous dishes. They are colorful, fragrant and delicious, and have a first-class taste. Everyone can't stop eating. Chapter 94 Teach me how to shoot. Shuang, what are your plans now? When they were almost done eating, Su Wei asked Shuang who was sitting next to him. I have discussed with my roommates to set up a studio of my own and release my own album, Shuang said with a smile. She didn't want to go back to Shanghai, she just wanted to stay in this poetic and picturesque city, creating and striving for her own career. Great. How are the preparations going? Su Wei agreed greatly. We haven't found a suitable venue yet. Shuang was a little worried when she mentioned this. She had chosen several places these days but none of them were ideal. And they needed to renovate the training room and recording studio, so they hoped to find a long-term and stable place. How about Century Building? Su Wei immediately suggested. It's good, but our budget may not be enough. Shuang couldn't help blushing. This time they raised their own money and didn't ask their families for a penny. It's on me. It just so happens that Zui Group is moving to the industrial park and the contract hasn't expired yet. You can use it first, Su Wei said generously. This, Shuang hesitated for a while, she didn't want to rely too much on Su Wei. This is a good thing. Shuang, just agree to Su Wei, at most we can give him some of our studio's shares, a girl next to Shuang hurriedly answered. Her name is Mei Hongfang, and she is the big sister of Shuang's dormitory. The next one is the second one Fu Rongjun, the third one Jin Humin, and Shuang is the last one. At this time, several people are listening with their ears erect, afraid of missing a word. Okay, it's so happily decided, I will be your boss in the future. Su Wei immediately made the decision. Oh yeah, several little girls jumped up with joy. With Zui Group as a backing, their future is bright. The attention of others was immediately attracted, and they hurriedly asked what happened. When they heard that Shuang and her friends had set up a studio and were preparing to release their own albums, several of Hu Xiaoxin's roommates couldn't help but speak out and wanted to become employees of the studio. It just so happened that they all studied music, and the studio had just been established and really needed manpower, so they decided so easily and happily. Although Hu Xiaoxin looked envious, she didn't say anything. She was very satisfied with her current job, and since she had made a choice, she should stick to it. By the way, what is the name of your studio? Su Wei took the time to ask Shuang. Angel Studio, Shuang replied. Very good, are you planning to develop a girl group? Su Wei nodded. Well, several of us can sing and dance, but we have different focuses. In the future, we will develop in the direction of our personal strengths, but singing will be the main focus in the early stage. Shuang introduced the studio's plan to Su Wei. The meal lasted until late at night, and everyone couldn't go back to the dormitory, So they had to go to Yunshujian together. Anyway, Shuang's number 3 courtyard is big enough, and it's no problem for a few girls to squeeze together. As the saying goes, if you squeeze together, won't you have it? Whether it's time, space, and early the next morning, Su Wei woke up from his sleep. When I walked out, I saw a quiet scene. It was probably because everyone drank too much last night and stayed in bed. Anyway, everyone here has a job and doesn't need to attend job fairs anymore. After Su Wei finished breakfast alone, he drove to Jinxi Garden and then teleported to the wasteland world to continue his miserable life as a porter. Truckloads of various supplies were transported to the Phaeton base. As for the other 3 sub-bases, there would be special transport fleets to transport supplies, so Su Wei didn't need to worry about it. Su Wei, do you have time to chat? In the afternoon, when Su Wei was refueling the big guy at the Phaeton base, Zhang Ling came over with a cold face. Yes, I must, Su Wei immediately replied with a smile. Follow me. Zhang Ling walked towards the city gate after she finished speaking. Huh? Several guys at the fuel plant immediately whistled at Su Wei. Don't make a fuss, let's talk about serious things. Su Wei couldn't help blushing and followed Zhang Ling, leaving behind him a series of laughter. Those who are familiar with Su Wei know that this base leader is particularly amiable, which is not in tune with the despair of the wasteland world. Under his leadership, the base has begun to show a vibrant scene. Therefore, such a harmonious scene just now appeared in the wasteland world. Zhang Ling walked all the way to the highest point on the top of the city wall before stopping. This is her exclusive position, where she can see wider and farther. Xiao Bei, who was spotless, lay on the side. When he saw Su Wei coming up, he rarely got up, circled around Su Wei, and licked the back of Su Wei's hand with his prickly tongue. This morning, Su Wei brought it a tuna weighing more than 100 kilograms, which made Xiao Bei's eyes sparkle. Hu Teng's current strength is unmatched in this area. It's time for us to leave. Zhang Ling didn't pay attention to Xiao Bei's actions, but looked into the distance and said calmly. Ah. Did someone violate the rules and harass you? Or did we neglect it? Su Wei couldn't help but feel cold in his heart. He was still hoping to brush the dungeon a few more times. No, the people in the base are very well behaved, and it's also very nice here. Zhang Ling showed a rare hesitation on her face. Then why do you want to leave? Su Wei asked back. The mission is completed, of course I have to leave, Zhang Ling said as a matter of course. Mission? Oh, by the way, I have another mission for you. Su Wei suddenly had an idea. What mission? Teach me how to shoot. Aren't you a sniper specialist? I just want to learn about firearms. Su Wei looked at the modified sniper on Zhang Ling's back with envy. Although he did not participate in the last battle, just hearing about it was exciting. In the midst of thousands of troops, taking the head of a general is as easy as taking something out of a bag. What a great grass. This, okay then, Zhang Ling originally wanted to refuse, but after seeing Su Wei's eager eyes, she suddenly felt reluctant. So she nodded and agreed. But, after I teach you, we will leave. As if to prove her determination, Zhang Ling repeated it again. Okay, okay, okay. Here, this is for you. I couldn't find you this morning. Su Wei nodded repeatedly. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. As he spoke, he took out a box of chocolates and stuffed it into Zhang Ling's hand. During the meeting, he found that Zhang Ling had a special liking for chocolates. So he brought her a box every time he came. Without waiting for Zhang Ling to refuse, Su Wei turned around and ran away. This trick has been tried and tested, and it works. Chapter 95, Learning to Shoot starts with a pistol. The next day, Su Wei arrived at the Bloody Rose's base early. He had promised to learn how to shoot. How could he break his promise? He even put aside the important matter of moving supplies, which shows how sincere he is. Good morning, boss. Hello, boss. The young girls and wives of the Bloody Rose also followed the people in the base to call Su Wei, but it sounded more comfortable than the men. Hello, have you eaten? How did you sleep last night? Are your clothes warm enough? Su Wei fully demonstrated the true qualities of a leader, caring about everyone and moving a group of young girls and wives to tears. What is a warm man? This is wow. Su Wei, are you looking for Xiaoling? When he arrived at the door, Aunt Wu just came out of the house. Yes, Aunt Wu. Is Xiaoling here? Su Wei asked with a smile. Yes, but she is a little uncomfortable today. You have to pay attention to her, Aunt Wu reminded with a thoughtful look. What's wrong with her? Su Wei looked suspicious. Wasn't she fine yesterday? Besides, she is a 5th level awakener. How can she be sick just like that? You should go in and see her yourself. Oh, thank Aunt Wu. With a nervous mood, Su Wei walked into the room and saw Zhang Ling sitting at the table with a pale face drinking hot water. Nothing wrong with her. She is so pale and cold on weekdays. Zhang Ling, Aunt Wu said you are not feeling well today. How about we do it another day? Su Wei sat down with a look of inquiry. What are you talking about? If you want to learn, learn it. If not, get out. Zhang Ling opened her mouth and started talking, which made Su Wei confused. Wait? Pale face, sweaty forehead, hands covering her lower abdomen, drinking hot water, irritable. Could this girl have dysmenorrhea? What are you looking at? If you look again, I will dig your eyes out. Zhang Ling was stared at by Su Wei and said impatiently. Oh, is your period coming? Su Wei asked tentatively. Get lost. Zhang Ling almost hit him with a water cup in her hand. Su Wei was so scared that he ran out in a hurry. Huh? Zhang Ling tried to calm down the anger in her chest. She was busy thinking about evacuation yesterday and forgot about this matter. And because of her cold constitution, she felt like she wanted to die during these days of the month. Click. Just then, there was a sound of obscene footsteps behind her. Why haven't you left yet? Zhang Ling turned her head and saw Su Wei standing at the door with a worried look on his face. Let's go, I'm leaving now, but I brought you some things that should be useful. As he said that, Su Wei brought in a large bag of things and put it on the table, and then slipped away like a rabbit. Zhang Ling was speechless for a while. How could she eat people? But when she opened the bag, she was stunned, and a complicated and incomprehensible look appeared on her cold face. Brown sugar, snacks, towels, hot packs, and hot water bottles are almost standard nursing packages. In the afternoon, Zhang Ling came to the headquarters with a frosty face to find Su Wei. However, from her relaxed brows, it can be seen that the situation has eased a lot. Zhang Ling, why did you bring me here? At the outdoor shooting range of the base, Su Wei looked at Zhang Ling with empty hands and asked curiously. Of course, I'm here to teach you how to shoot, Zhang Ling replied coldly. Oh, where's your gun? Su Wei looked at Zhang Ling. And there was no modified sniper rifle on her back. Shooting starts with shooting a pistol, Zhang Ling said as she pulled out an improved police pistol from her waist under her clothes. The shiny black gun body exuded a cold breath. Pistol gun, Su Wei obviously thought too much? Huh? Zhang Ling snorted coldly, and a lump of ice appeared silently behind Su Wei's neck, and slipped into Su Wei's clothes. Oh my god, Su Wei jumped up with a start, and quickly worked his hands up and down to get the ice out. He couldn't help but shudder all over. It's not very harmful, but it's very insulting. Put away your dirty thoughts, and learn it seriously. I'm choking. Su Wei quickly became serious. Zhang Ling began to explain firearms to Su Wei. Although it had been 500 years, due to the catastrophe, the technology of the wasteland world had regressed, and the hot weapons that were originally to be abandoned had returned to spring and became the mainstream weapons in the hands of survivors. With a precipitation of time, many improved models have appeared, optimizing the shooting accuracy and kinetic energy of bullets. But generally speaking, firearms are not much different from those in the modern world. With a transformation of strengthening potions, Su Wei's nerve reflexes are extremely strong. He quickly mastered the disassembly and assembly of firearms, and was able to aim and shoot quickly, but his accuracy was a little unsatisfactory. As the saying goes, sharpshooters are fed by bullets. Su Wei immediately mobilized a batch of pistol bullets and practiced hard on the shooting range. Zhang Ling gave instructions from time to time, and sometimes taught Su Wei how to blind shoot. Her special ability is sniping. Many things can only be understood but not explained. How much Su Wei can learn depends on his understanding. Fortunately, Su Wei's understanding is not low. After half a day, he practiced a pistol to perfection. Although it is not as free as Zhang Ling, he can also shoot wherever he points. The two agreed to continue learning sniper rifles tomorrow. Sniper rifle practice is not at the shooting range. Zhang Ling took Su Wei out of the Phaeton base and came to the edge of Jingquan City. On the way, Su Wei shamelessly climbed onto Xiao Bei's back and finally realized his dream of riding with a goddess. Sniper rifles have a long range and high precision requirements, so they are much more difficult than ordinary firearms. Not only do you have to master firearms, but you also have to be familiar with the surrounding environment, such as heartbeat, breathing, humidity, temperature, wind strength, etc. Any subtle factors may lead to deviations. This slight deviation will result in a huge deviation in the distance of the bullet. Zhang Ling's own sniping ability is about 2,500 meters. If she adds the assistance of her supernatural power, she can reach a terrifying 3,000 meters. This means that others will be shot in the head before they can even see a hair, and they won't know how they died. The first goal Zhang Ling set for Su Wei was to hit the head of a zombie 800 meters away. Bang! The first shot hit the target, which made Su Wei very happy. Nice, I'm a fucking genius, he praised himself excitedly. You didn't hit the one you aimed at. Zhang Ling, who was standing by, took a telescope and coldly poured ice water on him. Su Wei quickly took another closer look through the scope. And it turned out that it was not the one he had circled, but another one more than 10 meters away. Oh my god. This is so embarrassing, puff. Seeing Su Wei's expression, the icy beauty Zhang Ling couldn't hold back and burst out laughing. In an instant, it felt like the sky had cleared, the rain had stopped, and the flowers had bloomed. You look so beautiful when you smile. Su Wei couldn't help but stare at her in a daze. Shut up, keep practicing. Zhang Ling's smile was short-lived, and she instantly turned back to her icy face. Choked to death, Su Wei rushed back to the sniper rifle and locked onto the zombie through the scope, but the corners of his mouth couldn't help but slightly rise. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96, Finally Left. It took Su Wei 3 days to learn 95% of Zhang Ling's shooting skills. Zhang Ling was amazed by such talent. I don't know why he awakened his talent for strength. Maybe it's because every man has a dream of war. You have learned everything I can teach you. The rest depends on your understanding in actual combat, Zhang Ling said to Su Wei calmly. Ah. Is that all? I haven't learned enough. I think I can improve a little bit, Su Wei said hurriedly. I really have nothing to teach you. So, goodbye, Zhang Ling refused without hesitation. But then help me take the hunting mission of the base. Su Wei could only settle for the second best. This time Zhang Ling shook her head. Why? No reason, I just don't want to take it. Xialing, do you want to take another trip? Wu Ma on the side couldn't stand it anymore. After more than a month of getting along, they have seen Su Wei's sincerity, and the style displayed by the Phaeton base fascinated them. Isn't this a paradise on the wasteland? Zhang Ling suddenly looked up at Wu Ma, who lowered her head in shame, not daring to look at her. Looking at the other people, they also had the same look. Look, everyone likes it here, why don't you stay here too? Su Wei said with a smile. Hard work pays off. Humph, if they want to stay, they can stay. I won't stay. Zhang Ling's face became even colder. Su Wei couldn't help but be speechless. Isn't this touching? Wait, Su Wei stepped forward and stopped Zhang Ling. Click. Get out of the way. Zhang Ling pulled out a pistol and pointed it at Su Wei's chest. I only have one thing to say. You said you don't want to live under someone else's roof, so you can be the leader of the base, Su Wei said with a serious face and decisive. When this came out, everyone was shocked. The entire base gave up. Such a gesture is simply unheard of. Any woman would be moved. What's more, in this wasteland world where life is as thin as paper, several sentimental young wives couldn't help but shed tears of emotion. Zhang Ling was also shocked and looked at Su Wei with disbelief. How could such a rich base be given away just like that? If you don't believe me, I'll ask Sister Song to come and draft a notice now. Su Wei looked into Zhang Ling's eyes and said firmly. Humph, no, I can't afford it. Zhang Ling, who was originally hesitant, suddenly turned cold when she heard Song Dan, pushed Su Wei away, and walked out directly. Oh, what's wrong? Why do you suddenly feel like you're taking gunpowder? Su Wei was confused and hurriedly chased after her. Zhang Ling had already ridden on Xiao Bei. Although Xiao Bei looked at Su Wei with a nostalgic look on his face, he still rushed out without hesitation at Zhang Ling's whistle. Wait a minute, Su Wei hurriedly chased after the door. Wu Ma and others also followed. Yuna and others also rushed over after hearing the news. Su Wei stood at the gate with a look of disappointment, looking at a white dot that was gradually going away, feeling empty in his heart. Zhang Ling was the first wastelander he had met, and the one who brought him out of the ruins of the city. She held an extraordinary weight in his heart. Is this the so-called love at first sight? Su Wei himself didn't know. He only knew that he didn't want her to suffer anymore, didn't want her to fight anymore, and didn't want her hands to be stained with blood anymore. Boss, Brother Su Wei, Song Dan, you know. Wu Ma and others looked at Su Wei with worry. Humph, this Zhang Ling is too ruthless. My brother was so sincere to her, but she just walked away. She is simply a wolf and a dog. Enough, Nana. Yuna couldn't bear it anymore and said angrily, but was stopped by the upset Su Wei with a roar. Brother, Yuna had never seen Su Wei like this before, and felt wronged in her heart, and her two big eyes were filled with mist. Boss, Song Dan quickly pulled Su Wei's hand. Huh? I'm sorry, Nana, I'm just in a bad mood, it has nothing to do with others. Su Wei apologized quickly, he really shouldn't get angry with Nana. It's okay, I don't blame my brother. Forever. Nana burst into laughter. Boss, Xiaoling has a very strong personality, maybe she can't accept it yet, give each other some time, when she thinks it through, maybe she will come back. Wu Mai also came up to comfort her. If you want to say who knows Zhang Ling best, it must be her. Well, I know. Wu Ma, you can take everyone to live here with peace of mind and treat this as your own home. Su Wei nodded after hearing this. Okay. Brother, I know you are not an ordinary person. Don't worry, Xiaoling will definitely think it through. With Su Wei's words, Wu Ma and others felt as if they had taken a reassurance pill. Boss, this is what Captain Zhang left before he left, saying that he would give it to you. At this time, a soldier guarding the gate came over with a modified sniper rifle in both hands. Everyone was stunned. Isn't this the sniper rifle that Zhang Ling never leaves when she sleeps? To give such an important thing to someone else, the information contained in it is extraordinary. Su Wei silently took the sniper rifle, and there seemed to be a familiar fragrance on it. Holding it was like holding her hand. Although he didn't say anything, Su Wei finally felt a little better. Su Wei put the sniper rifle on his back, and his mood suddenly improved. Zhang Ling left, but Su Wei did not leave immediately. Instead, he stayed at the base with Yuna and Song Dan to relax for 2 days. Then he returned to the modern world with a strengthening potion and life potion prepared by Qin Lao. He only asked Qin Lao to prepare level 1 to 6 strengthening potions to see how effective they are. Life potions are precious to the wasteland, but for Su Wei, the cost is only a few thousand yuan, no pressure at all. Early in the morning, Su Wei came out of yard number 1 and met He Shuang coming out of yard number 3. She was wearing a goose yellow dress and twin ponytails, cute and pure. Su Wei, are you free this morning? He Shuang saw Su Wei and immediately trotted over. Her white skin exuded amazing charm in the morning light. Yes, Su Wei nodded with appreciation. Then can you accompany me to the studio? He Shuang said with joy. The studio is ready. Su Wei was surprised. It was less than a week. Well, most of it is ready. We just added a recording studio and a practice room. This will be done quickly. It will be completed in 2 or 3 days. Yesterday, the equipment was debugged. We can officially start work today. He Shuang looked excited. The two walked to the garage, talking and laughing, and drove He Shuang's pink BMW to Century Building. Chapter 97, Flower Guardian. Shuang, you didn't ask me to come over to listen to your singing, did you? On the way, Su Wei leaned back in his seat with a comfortable look on his face. A beautiful woman in a luxury car, it's really a great enjoyment. You can see that. He Shuang, who was driving, smiled slightly, showing her white teeth and beautiful little canine teeth. Is there really something wrong? Su Wei was stunned, so he just asked casually. It's not a big deal, it's just that guy found Hutu City and annoyed me to death. He Shuang's face showed a bit of helplessness. That guy? Who is it? Su Wei was stunned again. It's that Liu Bowen. He ran from Moto City to Hutu City and harassed me all day long. It's really annoying, He Shuang explained quickly. Haha, this shows that our Hada campus bill is infinitely charming. Su Wei couldn't help but tease. Humph, I don't care, you must deal with that annoying guy today, I don't want to see him again in the future, He Shuang pouted and said. Thinking of Liu Bowen's obscure gaze, she got goosebumps all over her body. Okay, I promise, I'll make him disappear today, Su Wei patted his chest and promised. But don't do anything illegal, I don't want you to get into unnecessary trouble. He Shuang smiled like a flower when she heard the words, but she didn't forget to remind him. I know. With my qualifications of being tall, rich and handsome, I will definitely make him retreat when he sees difficulties and win without fighting, Su Wei said with a fart face. Haha, how can you flatter yourself like this? You don't know shame. As they were talking, the two came to the Century building, parked the car, and went upstairs together. When they were about to reach the door of Angel Studio, they saw Liu Bowen standing there in a suit, holding a fiery red rose in his hand. He looked gentle and refined. Shuang, you're here. For you. Liu Bowen was stunned when he saw Shuang and Su Wei, but he quickly reacted and greeted them without hesitation. I'm sorry, I don't know you very well, please call me by my full name. Also, you should take the flowers back, I won't accept them, Shuang said, holding Su Wei's arm, silently rejecting Liu Bowen. We're not familiar with each other, so we need to strengthen our relationship. Since I came all the way from Magic City to Flower City to see you, can't you give me a little face? Liu Bowen didn't feel embarrassed at all, and directly ignored Su Wei beside him, looking at Shuang intently. Shuang continued to shake his head and refuse. Such a weird scene immediately attracted the attention of passers-by around. Shuang, if you don't accept it, I won't want it either. Such beautiful flowers, can you bear to let them wither so quickly? Liu Bowen began to speak emotionally. You don't want it, and he doesn't want it either, so just give it to me, Su Wei said, taking the flowers from Liu Bowen's hand, so fast that Liu Bowen didn't react, with his hands still raised in the air. That look was both funny and hilarious. You Liu Bowen was furious, but soon he suppressed his anger and just glared at Su Wei with a bad look. Unfortunately, the latter had a playful expression, which made him even more angry. For you, Su Wei immediately borrowed flowers to thank the Buddha and handed the red roses to Shuang. Thank you. Shuang immediately took the flowers with a smile. Su Wei took the lead and stretched his face over. Shuang had to bear the shyness and kissed him on the face. The face and the flowers complement each other. How many people envy? Shuang, I know a few big names in the industry, maybe they can help you quickly expand and strengthen your studio. Liu Bowen's teeth were about to break, and he turned his head to look at Shuang again. Although the words sounded nice, there was an inexplicable coldness in his tone. Relying on the influence of Helen International, it is indeed possible to invite some popular artists. If you climb one of the high branches, then it will only take a moment to rise to prominence. Of course, it can also make a small studio disappear in an instant. Thank you for your kindness, but we just want to create what we like, and as for the rest, let it go. Shuang hurriedly grabbed Su Wei, who wanted to come forward, and said coldly to Liu Bowen. He actually dared to threaten people nakedly. Did he really think that Helen International was invincible? After saying that, Shuang pulled Su Wei into the door of Angel Studio. Humph, bitch, you wait for me, Liu Bowen thought viciously as he looked at the backs of the two. Ding ding. At this time, Liu Bowen's cell phone rang, and he hurriedly took out his cell phone to answer it. After a few words, he turned around and walked out. Don't be angry, the person has left. After Su Wei looked outside through the French window, he patted Shuang's little hand and said, Humph, who is that person? Shuang still looked angry. Shuang, you're here. Hey, boss, how come you have time to come here today? Are you here to be a flower protector? While the two were chatting, Mei Hongfan came out of the recording studio with a list in her hand, as if she was taking inventory. As for the others, they hadn't come yet. Of course, if you dare to catch the attention of our University campus belle again, I'll beat his legs, Su Wei immediately said domineeringly, showing off his not-so-prominent biceps. Hey, didn't that guy come today? Shuang and Mei Hongfang were both amused. The latter glanced outside and asked curiously, hasn't that guy been here rain or shine these days? He came and just confronted me, but under my wise and powerful leadership, he had no choice but to leave in disgrace. Ha, boss, you are so humorous. While the three were talking and laughing, others also came to the studio one after another. Including the 3 people in Hu Xiaoxin's dormitory, there are now a total of 7 people in the studio. After a few more simple chats, the girls started to get busy. Those who were good at dancing went to the practice room to hone their dancing skills. Those who were good at singing went to the recording studio to practice their voices. Su Wei was quite curious about all of these, and went in to visit them one by one. It's true that dancing girls are really attractive, especially when some provocative movements are added, which makes people's blood boil. Su Wei hurriedly left the practice room and went to the recording studio to listen to He Shuang singing. Mei Huangfang became her dedicated tuner, operating a bunch of equipment like a tiger, which dazzled Su Wei. However, with the addition of equipment, He Shuang's heavenly voice is even more amazing. After listening to it, your ears will be pregnant. Beep. Just when Su Wei was listening fascinated, his mobile phone vibrated, and he took it out and saw that it was Xia Wei. Su Wei hurriedly left the recording studio and answered the call. Hello, Sister Wei, Zio Wei, are you free now? Yes. What's the matter? If you are, come to the headquarters. Someone from Helen International is here and wants to talk to us. Okay, I'll be right there. Su Wei hung up the phone, said goodbye to Mei Huangfang, and walked towards the Ziwei group next door. Could the person sent by Helen International be that guy Liu Bowen? Chapter 98. Unless I can't help it. Sister Wei, when Su Wei walked into Xia Wei's office, she was changing into a new pair of black stockings. Her long white legs disappeared in the thin stockings, as if a layer of sexy film was attached to her skin. It was pleasing to the eye. Hey, how come you came so quickly? Xia Wei adjusted her stockings, stood up, and threw a pair of holy socks into the trash can. I just happened to be coming too. Su Wei smiled slightly. Sniff. Xia Wei immediately came over suspiciously and sniffed Su Wei. Are you here with He Shuang? Oh my god, Sister Wei, do you have a dog's nose? Su Wei was shocked that he could even smell it. Humph, if you don't want others to know, then don't do it yourself. Xia Wei rolled her eyes at Su Wei. Su Wei had no choice but to smile awkwardly. Mr. Su, President Xia, Manager Zhang from Helen International is here. In conference room 1, Wang Na knocked on the door and walked in, wearing a professional suit that showed off her curvy figure. She is now the president's secretary. Okay, we'll go right away. Xia Wei nodded at Wang Na, and the latter left the office. Let's go, Boss Su, let's go meet the international giant, let's go. With that, the two of them went to conference room 1 together. Oh, the air suddenly became very quiet. There were two people sitting in the conference room, and they were both acquaintances. One of them was Liu Bowen, as Su Wei expected, and the other was Zhang Nianlin, the pretentious criminal who had handed out pure gold business cards at the airport. Coincidentally, both of them had a grudge against Su Wei. Haha, this is really a narrow road for enemies, and Su Wei couldn't help but reveal an intriguing smile. Manager Zhang, this is Mr. Su Wei, the chairman of our Ziwei group, and this is Ms. Xia Wei, the general manager of our Ziwei group. Boss Su, President Xia, this is Mr. Zhang Nianlin, the general manager of Helen International Asia Pacific, and this is Mr. Liu Bowen, the assistant. Wang Na, who was standing aside, felt that the atmosphere was a little wrong, and hurried forward to introduce each other. Aha! Mr. Su, Mr. Xia, hello. Zhang Nianlin was stunned for a moment, then immediately smiled, pretending that nothing had happened. However, his fat pig-like butt did not move at all, and he sat there calmly, as if waiting for Su Wei and Xia Wei to come up and pay homage. His arrogant attitude was fully revealed. Liu Bowen on the side also did not move, staring at Su Wei with a gloomy face. He was jealous. In addition to He Shuang, this kid actually knew such a charming and beautiful female CEO. Where is justice? Wang Na was immediately confused. What's going on? Is this fat guy trying to kill himself? Wang Na, go and do your thing first. Su Wei raised the corners of his mouth slightly, and said to Wang Na, who was a little at a loss. Okay, Mr. Su. Wang Na hurriedly left a meeting room, but she did not leave and waited by the door. As he said that, Su Wei patted Xia Wei's little hand, asking her to calm down, with an expression on his face that he was watching my performance. Then he took her hand and came to the conference table, and extended his right hand to Zhang Nianlin. Zhang Nianlin's fat face suddenly showed a trace of mockery, thinking that Su Wei had given in, and wanted to take the initiative to shake hands to show goodwill. But when he extended his right hand, Su Wei's hand suddenly turned, took a tissue from the paper towel box on the table, and carefully wiped the dust off the table and chairs for Xia Wei beside him. A set of actions flowed smoothly and naturally, and there was no intention of shaking hands at all. And %. Zhang Nianlin raised one hand in the air, looking extremely embarrassed. Puchy, Xia Wei couldn't help laughing for a moment. This made Zhang Nianlin's face darken. What do you mean by this? Zhang Nianlin slowly retracted his right hand and asked coldly. What do you mean? What's wrong with me? Wiping the table. What do I mean? Su Wei didn't care about him and pulled Xiao Wei to sit down. Zhang Nianlin was so angry that he couldn't speak. If it wasn't at Ziwei Company, he would definitely teach this kid a lesson. Tell me, what are you doing here? By the way, Liu Bowen, didn't you say you came all the way from Mo City to visit Shuang? So it was just a drop-in. After sitting down, Su Wei looked at Liu Bowen opposite him with a teasing look. Oh, do you know each other? Zhang Nianlin realized that the two guys seemed to have a grudge. No, Su Wei and Liu Bowen answered in unison. Well, Zhang Nianlin felt that he was asking for nothing. Mr. Su, Mr. Xia, I'll get straight to the point. Helen International thinks that Ziwei Electronics' giant energy number 1 hydrogen battery has great market prospects and wants to invest in it. The initial investment is 10 billion, and there will be a large amount of capital injection in the later stage, which can make Ziwei Electronics reach the top overnight. How about it? Zhang Nianlin didn't hesitate and directly threw money at people. This is the first time he has seen such a high investment in the Asia-Pacific region in Helen International. Unfortunately, it was an order directly issued by the headquarters, and he could only follow the rules. Let him go, otherwise there will be no negotiation. Su Wei pointed directly at Liu Bowen and said, Su Wei, you despicable villain, you actually want to take revenge. I tell you, our Helen International will not cooperate with villains like you. Liu Bowen immediately jumped up like a cat whose tail was stepped on. But Zhang Nianlin's next words made him dumbfounded. Liu Bowen, you are fired, Zhang Nianlin said lightly, as if it was not a big deal at all. No, you don't have this right, you don't. Liu Bowen's face was pale, and he shouted at Zhang Nianlin. Do you know whether I have this right or not? Okay, you go first, don't interfere with our business, Zhang Nianlin said expressionlessly. Liu Bowen didn't know the attitude of the headquarters towards Ziwei Electronics at all. If sacrificing him can get Su Wei into the trap, it is still worthwhile. Yes, Helen International's investments are all traps. Relying on strong financial strength, it eats away the other party bit by bit, and then strengthens itself. HMPH. You just wait. Liu Bowen knew that it was useless to say anything more, so he left angrily after leaving a harsh word. Su, Mr. Xia, this is the contract, take a look. In addition to the capital investment, there are also Helen International's global market channels, which can be used by Ziwei Electronics. Zhang Nianlin opened the briefcase beside him and took out a large stack of bilingual documents from it. No need, Su Wei said and pushed the documents back. What does this mean? Zhang Nianlin's eyes narrowed. First, our Ziwei group is still small and has no plans to accept large international orders for the time being. Second, our Ziwei Electronics has limited production capacity, and we haven't even opened up the domestic market, let alone the international market. Third, we Ziwei have no shortage of funds or channels. Fourth, and most importantly, I am a petty person and I hold grudges very well. Toxic oil and seg? Su Wei said it in one go, making Zhang Nianlin's face turn green and black. If you hadn't just said that if Liu Bowen got out, would we be able to talk? Zhang Nianlin asked hoarsely, trying hard to hold back the anger in his heart. Over the years, everyone has begged and served him, but he has never met a character like Su Wei. Yes, I talked to you, it's a pity that I didn't agree in the end. Su Wei had a helpless expression on his face, which made Xiao Wei on the side unable to hold back anymore and laughed out loud like a goose. We are professionals and usually don't laugh unless we can't help it. Chapter 99. So handsome. Bang, don't go too far. Zhang Nianlin slammed the table in anger, and pointed at Su Wei with a stubby finger, which was still shaking. Going too far? What a joke, just get it clear, you came here on your own, I didn't invite you. Besides, business, how can it be negotiated? Do you want to force a sale? Su Wei changed his sitting position comfortably, and then looked at Zhang Nianlin with a sneer on his face. Okay. You are cruel, but wait, you will not end well if you offend Helen International, Zhang Nianlin said angrily. Snap. Su Wei slapped Zhang Nianlin's finger away with a slap, and sneered, I hate it most when people point at me, it's still unknown who will win. Manager Zhang, goodbye. Zhang Nianlin snorted coldly and walked away in disgrace. After all, he was on the territory of Ziwei Group, and he didn't want to suffer. However, Ziwei Group, Su Wei, and Xiao Wei have all been on his blacklist. Gaga, you are such a bad brother, Xiaowei watched Zhang Nianlin leave in embarrassment, and she was so laughing that she held her stomach and couldn't straighten her back. These are all small scenes, Su Wei smiled slightly. Over the years, Helen International has used funds as a weapon to encircle and intercept many domestic industries, causing a devastating blow to the development of Xia's industrial chain. People like Zhang Nianlin are shameless accomplices, traitors, and traitors. It's too good for him to treat him like this, Su Wei continued. Last time when they had dinner in Mo City, Mr. He told him some inside stories of Helen International, so he was so ruthless. Alice. Falling behind will be beaten. Xia started late, and the powers are the makers of the rules, so we have become lambs to be slaughtered. You have to pay a painful price for everything you do. The smile on Xiaowei's face gradually disappeared, revealing a helpless expression. Don't worry, I will let them know that we are not sheep, but dragons, giant dragons that can fly thousands of miles. Su Wei's expression was firm, and his eyes exuded an extremely confident light. Xiaowei, who was watching from the side, could not help but fall into obsession. So handsome. Nothing to do. Su Wei said goodbye to Xiaowei and sent a message to He Shuang. He took a taxi back to Yanshujian. After getting off the car, he went straight to courtyard number 7. Boss, after Su Wei knocked on the door, Chen Long ran over and opened the door. Brother Long, how is Aunt Zhang's health? Su Wei asked as he walked in. All right. Thank you, boss. Chen Long didn't say much, but he was very sincere. That's good. As they said that, the two came to the living room. At this time, there were still 4 men sitting in the living room, and they also had a bloody aura flowing through them. Seeing the 2 people coming in, they stood up. Needless to say, they must be Chen Long's comrades in arms. In fact, they came one after another 2 days ago, but Su Wei has been in the wasteland world and has not been contacted. Boss, they are machine gunner Wei Qiang, demolitionist Gong Fansen, sniper Ji Han, and scout Luo Zichen. Chen Long introduced them to Su Wei one by one. Hello, boss, the 4 shouted to Su Wei in unison. They all knew that Su Wei helped Chen Long and promised $1 million annual salary, which made them very grateful. Hello, everyone, sit down. Su Wei invited everyone to sit down. Xiao Wei is here. Come on, have some fruit. Wei Qiang, you guys eat too. At this time, Zhang Kehu came out of the kitchen after hearing the sound, holding 2 plates of fruit in her hands and placed them on the coffee table. Thank you, Auntie. Su Wei was not polite either, picked up a big, red apple and took a bite. What are you thanking me for? Let's eat here at noon. I'm just about to make it, Zhang Kehu asked with a smile on her face. Although her eldest son died and her youngest son was unfilial, she now has 5 sons, each one more filial than the other, so she is naturally in a good mood. Okay, Su Wei nodded while chewing an apple. What do you want to eat? Anything is fine, okay. Then you guys chat, I'll cook it right away. Zhang Kehu ran back to the kitchen again. Come and eat, don't be polite, let's eat and chat. Introduce your specialties first, so I can understand them. Su Wei waved to everyone. Boss, I'll go first. As soon as he finished speaking, the youngest Luo Zichen raised his hand, and it was obvious that he had a more active personality. I came from the reconnaissance company. I'm good at hiding and spying on military intelligence. I'm also good at close combat, and my favorite weapon is a dagger. Luo Zichen talked about his specialties like a bamboo tube pouring beans. Su Wei listened and nodded. Then the others introduced themselves one after another. Although they each had their own specialties, overall their comprehensive strength was very strong. Shooting, fighting, reconnaissance, counter-reconnaissance, etc. are all compulsory courses, otherwise you would not have been selected by Zhan Long. More than an hour passed unknowingly. Xiaohu, A Long, it's time for dinner, Zhang Kehu called. Let's go, eat first, and then we'll get down to business, Su Wei said as he led the way to the restaurant. Zhang Kehu's cooking skills were not good, but they were not bad either. They were ordinary home-cooked dishes, but a few people still ate with their mouth full of oil. After all, the taste of home is precious to these people who lick blood on the blade. After dinner, Zhang Kehu went out for a walk, and at the same time, she would go to buy dinner for the evening. Su Wei took Chen Long and others to courtyard number 1. Here he had someone renovate a training room so that they could practice boxing and fitness on weekdays. I asked you to come here. Has Brother Long explained to you what you need to do? In the training room, Su Wei asked a few people with a serious face. I understand, Wei Qiang and others answered in unison. Well, but I have to reiterate it again, although your duties are only bodyguards and security personnel, your enemies may come from abroad, from the strongest aliens or biochemical soldiers in the United States. For this, you may lose your life. So, do you still plan to stay? If you want to quit now, it's still not too late. I won't stop you, and I won't take back the resettlement fee. Just treat it as making friends. Su Wei stopped when he said this, and looked at the few people quietly, giving them time to think. However, the faces of the few people were determined, and no one chose to leave. Boss, if you are afraid of death, we won't join the army. That's right, I have heard that the biochemical soldiers in the United States are strong, and I really want to see them if I have the chance, Luo Zicheng and Jihan said unconvinced. Speaking of which, at the beginning, the few people felt bored because the work was easy, but now it sounds more expectant. Very good, you are indeed from Xianlong, but, let me be frank. If there is betrayal in the future, I will be the first one who will not let him go, even if I chase him to the ends of the earth. I will kill him with my own hands. Su Wei waved his hand and shook it, and his aura was fully open. The training room was instantly filled with an invisible storm. Including the strongest Qianlong, the faces of several people changed color. They had been on the battlefield and had long been accustomed to life and death, but under Su Wei's domineering pressure, they actually gave birth to a long-lost sense of fear. This boss is definitely not an ordinary person. This was the only thought left in the minds of several people. Chapter 100, Creating a Master. Boss, no need to say more. We will follow you till death. After the shock, Qianlong swore an oath to Su Wei on behalf of everyone. At this moment, it was no longer a simple gratitude, but a heartfelt offer the strong. Okay, from now on, we will live and die together, Su Wei said, stretching out a palm. Life and death together. Qianlong and others' eyes instantly turned red after hearing this. Although they left the battlefield, Su Wei made them feel the brotherhood that was better than the battlefield. Several people stretched out their palms and folded them tightly together. Come on, one for each of you, drink it now, Su Wei said, taking out 5 level 1 strengthening potions from his arms and distributing them to several people. What is this? Several people were confused and didn't know what Su Wei was going to do. Don't ask anything. You won't know even if you ask. If you trust me, drink it. If you don't trust me, leave. Su Wei had a cool look on his face, and he didn't intend to make any explanation. Drink. Qianlong gave the order, and several people immediately pulled out the corks and drank the potion in one gulp. Hey. It smells delicious, and the aftertaste is a little sweet. Then there was no reaction. After more than a quarter of an hour, Qianlong and others looked at Su Wei in confusion. Don't talk. Oh. Su Wei struggled to maintain a cold attitude, but his heart was beating fast. This shouldn't be. Why did I react immediately after taking it, but they were like nothing happened? Could it be expired? No way. Finally, after waiting for an hour, Qianlong was the first to react. The pain that penetrated deep into his bones made him cry out in a low voice, followed by Wei Qiang, Luo Zicheng and others, all showing twisted and hideous faces. Hold on, as long as you get through this level, you will find a new world. Su Wei finally breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that everyone's reaction is different, not that there is something wrong with the potion. At this moment, Qianlong and others had already ignored other things. They fell to the ground, breathing in and out, using the methods learned in the army to fight against the pain. Finally, when Su Wei was about to go crazy, several people gradually recovered. Roar, Gong Fansen was the first to jump up and output to the air. 2 sandbag-sized fists, as fast as lightning, both appeared double images, and there was a faint sound of thunder. Boss, this thing is amazing. It directly increased my strength by more than 1 times, Gong Fansen said with a shocked face. The kung fu he practiced is called breaking the sky fist. It originally won by strength, and now the strength has increased directly. The other few people couldn't help but move their bodies and felt an unprecedented improvement. In the end, it was counted that basically everyone's strength increased by nearly 2 times. The highest was Luo Zicheng, who increased by 2 times. The worst was Qianlong, who only increased by 1 time. It seems that this has a lot to do with personal physique. Having achieved the expected results, Su Wei finally felt relieved. He took out 2 sets of strengthening potions, one of level 2 and one of level 3, and gave them to Qianlong for safekeeping. He told the others to take the potion marked with II and then the potion marked with III when they felt that the potions had been absorbed. After that, Su Wei left the others in the training room to get familiar with their new strength, and slipped out alone. He didn't want to be a sparring partner. Ding dong. At this moment, a doorbell rang. Su Wei walked over and opened the access control screen, only to see a uniformed community security guard standing in front of the door. "Excuse me, what can I do for you?" Su Wei asked. "Hello, Mr. Su, there's a girl outside the community, saying that she is your sister, but her identity cannot be found in the community system, so we came to verify with you," the security guard said very politely. "Did she say her name?" Su Wei was suspicious. "She said her name was Su Jiao? Ugh, what the hell, I actually forgot about this today." Su Wei then realized that the last time he called, his sister said she would come to Huidu City in the next 2 days. Damn it, he actually forgot such an important thing, damn it. "Wait for me to go with you." With that, Su Wei rushed out of courtyard number 1 in a hurry and took the security guard's shuttle bus to the gate. When he arrived at the gate, he saw a 70% to 80% new car parked there, blocked by several security guards on duty, watching it tightly. Brother, seeing Su Wei coming, Su Jiao, who was standing in front of the car and arguing with the security guards, shouted. "Sister, why didn't you call in advance when you came?" Su Wei hurried over. "Huh? I couldn't get through to your phone the past 2 days, and no one answered today." "Don't you want me anymore?" Su Jiao said angrily. Su Wei hurriedly took out his cell phone and saw that there were indeed several missed calls, but his cell phone was in silent mode, so he didn't notice it. My cell phone was in silent mode, so I didn't notice it. I'm sorry, sister. Just tell me how you want to punish me." Su Wei quickly and sincerely admitted his mistake. "Huh? That's better, remember it first, and I'll tell you when I think about it." Only then did Su Jiao's anger turn into joy. "I'm sorry, Miss Su." Several security guards who blocked the road hurried forward to apologize. It's okay, this is your job." Su Jiao was not really angry, and waved her hand nonchalantly. "Okay, go back to work." Su Wei waved to the security guards, and they returned to the posts. "Sister, is your luggage in the car?" Su Wei said, looking at the car. Su Wei, at this time, a person got out of the driver's seat of the car. "Oh, Hu Bin." Su Wei was stunned. It was this guy. "Brother Su." Not only that, another girl got out of the back seat and called out to Su Wei timidly. "Fang Kiao Kiao." Su Wei couldn't help but feel a headache when he saw the girl, which reminded him of what happened in the hotel last time. "Brother, what's with your expression?" "Kiao Kiao and I applied for Huidu University, can't we come together?" Su Jiao saw Su Wei's expression and immediately became unhappy, pulling his arm and asking. Yes, let's go in together." Su Wei hurriedly greeted the 3 people. "No, Su Wei, I have to go back," Hu Bin hurriedly refused. "Since you're here, why do you want to go back?" "Let's play for 2 days first." Su Wei tried to keep them. Brother who heard that the 2 of us were coming to Huidu City, so he sent us here specially," Su Jiao explained on the side. In the morning, when she and Fang Kiao went to the small supermarket to buy things, they talked about going to Huidu City. Hu Bin was worried that the 2 of them were not safe on the road, so he offered to drive them. "Thanks, Hu Bin." Su Wei patted Hu Bin's shoulder with a smile on his face. "This boy is so good. What are you thanking me for?" "We are old classmates, it's my duty," Hu Bin said modestly. "Don't leave, just call Zia Fang tonight and have a meal." Su Wei continued to persuade him to stay, and he should thank him anyway. No. Su Wei, the store can't do without people, come again next time you have a chance." Hu Bin still refused with a smile. "Okay, then drive slowly on the road, safety first, got it?" After saying that, he took the luggage of the 2 girls out of the car, and then Hu Bin got into the driver's seat. "Hu Bin, if you want to go out and try your luck, just arrange your family and come here to find me." Su Wei leaned over to the window of the driver's seat and said to the inside. "Okay, let's go." After hearing this, Hu Bin nodded heavily. Bye. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.